All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to another CPL Season 6 cast. I'm your host, Cold Workgates, and today I'll be bringing you a few selected games from different matches in Week 6. Of course, last week was the break between the regular season and the playoffs. We don't have any new games, but these are all games that have not been shown on any official CPL broadcast yet, so it'll be new to you. As usual, I want to give my shout out to the CPL admins and everybody running the tournament, especially Saint Zero, who always does a great job getting me replays, announcing my stream, all that good stuff. And with that out of the way, let's get into our first series here, Royo versus Crazy. No shout out for Storm Carlin. In the bottom left, in the olive Protoss, we have Royo, aka Angela Merkel, aka the literal chancellor of Germany. And in the bottom right, from Team Emmy and Team Amigos, it's Crazy. Take three. Take three is something. This is the kind of thing that I should have looked up. I don't think Royo... Does Royo main toss? Or does Royo race pick for this matchup? Something... I know I played them when they were playing Zerg, but I don't know if they were just off-racing to a clown on me. Sounds like they might have had some lag issues setting up this game, but I assume given that we're seeing this replay, it's good now. Looks like Royo is having some tech issues. So Sylphid on this map, or I do this every time. This matchup on Sylphid, it seems all right for both races. Maybe a bit better for Terran. The short rush distance can be kind of scary for early pushes. Some of the bases are kind of tight to get around for Protoss, but there's also a lot of airspace around the mains, and Protoss can exploit that with Reaver drops and things like that. I'm being told that Snipe is telling me that Royo race picks, so good to know. It looks like everything is standard so far. Not gonna see any extremely greedy command center from Crazy. Not to see anything too wild from Royo. To wait a little while for more tech choices to play out. Crazy, I have played with a lot, especially in this matchup. He's very strong at the macro and like hitting his build. Sometimes he kind of gets in his own head. It doesn't really move out ever, and sometimes he moves out and has some struggles with like getting his tanks to go all in the same place, stuff like that. So his army control can be a bit rough sometimes, but if you let him get his economy off, he'll be a monster. Royo, I must admit I have no idea how they play in this matchup. So we'll all find out together. So far it looks very, very standard. Love to see it, we get this Nexus after 1, 2, or 3 goons. Been a lot of commotion about that lately. Looks like the probe well managed to escape, which is always nice. You can either send it home for a bit more mining or keep it on the map, try to scout like dropships, or just see when they turn moves out. That's something that I need to focus on, is like maintaining map vision throughout the game. I kind of just do what Royo's doing here, just pull it back and get that mining, and then I have no idea what Terran's doing. Looks like that goon might be coming out to replace the probe, which is always nice. And we do see continuing goon production. So probably gonna go for a 28 Nexus, or some combination of numbers, maybe 26. All right, who knows? Option to get a few goons before the Nexus. Trying to dance around, poke some Marines. Probably not going to get too much damage on before this bunker finishes, but pulling back before taking any hull damage, so that's completely fine. Let's see what the follow-up is from Royo. You should see a Robo soon, but it could just be for observers, or it could be to get a Reaver, which, like I said, is pretty strong on this map. Now it looks like Crazy is going for mines. Gonna try to get some map control here. Not too scared. I mean, we don't see too much pressure from Royo with just one goon out here, so not really worried about having the bunker busted. Gives Terran a bit of a breathing room to get some map control with mines for a while. Although, as I say that, I mean, there's 2 goons and a 3rd goon coming, but the tank comes out first for Crazy. Able to drive the goons away for now. Is the Vulture going to be able to sneak by? I guess there's 2 paths it could go. Royo is on top of it, paying good attention to his goons, but the Vulture does get away, albeit with half of its health gone. But even a 1 HP Vulture can lay mines. It looks like Royo is like, nope, not letting that Vulture run by and get a bunch of kills. Just immediately pulls back every goon. This is a man who's been hurt by Vultures. Somebody who's suffered from mines and run-bys. Using the observatory as part of the wall, it's like a completely standard thing, but it's something I never had the presence of mind to do, so I'm going to commend Royo for that. Putting a goon here, I expect just to prevent a mine being laid at the 3rd, or maybe look for proxies always going up here. I guess you'd see like a 2nd factory or like a starport or something proxy there. Coming up to 3 gates. And a Robo on 2 bases, very, very standard. Nice defensive safe play. Should be able to get a 3rd base going up soon with no problems. Especially we don't see like a factory explosion from Crazy. Maybe a 2nd one about to start. But no, we already have the armory done for the 2nd factory. So Crazy is just going to play a long game here. Get those upgrades. Get his economy going. And eventually build up to a huge, terrifying wall of tanks. Vulture's being annoying, laying a few mines on 2 of the paths that Royo could take across the map, giving him good vision before he decides to move out. I think this blocks the nexus here. Maybe, I don't think, like, maybe you can fit like right there, but I don't think so. So we'll see what this observer sees in the Terran main. Just going to see a very small amount of tanks. If it scoots them a little bit more, it'll see that the 2nd factory is not even done yet. So Royo is going to feel completely 100% safe taking this nexus. Honestly, we might even see a fast 4th, unless Crazy suddenly slaps down a ton of factories. Now we see this 3rd command center. Yeah, we're gonna see a 3rd, and I imagine a 4th nexus before too long. So I haven't mentioned it yet, but I always go on this little spiel whenever I cast games on Sylphid. I think my favorite aspect of this map is how many choices there are for the 3rd base, and then leading on from there the 4th, 5th, and so on bases, and how your choice of base changes the game a lot. Like, imagine, like, Fighting Spirit, like, you basically have 1 choice for 3rd. And you have, like, 1 choice for 4th, and so on. Like, it's kind of very figured out in that sense. But, like, Sylphid, Royo could take this space, which is really far from the Terran, but it's very open, and it's mineral only. You can take this base, which is, like, a complete base, with some decent protection from terrain. But it only has half resources, and in these spawns it's actually bad because it's like right on the attack path for the Terran. It's hard to like dislodge tanks from this area. Or you can take like this base, which is my personal favorite because it's a full base and it's protected by a small ramp. And you know, in each matchup, the choice of where to take your 3rd really changes a lot on this map. I think that's a mark of the good design of this map. But anyway, back in this game, now that I'm done ranting. Crazy is continuing to focus on tech and economy, getting that 3rd command center, already working on that science facility. Not quite fast enough to start that +2 immediately, but it's still going to start at a very comfortable time. It's just now going up to 4 factories. In the meantime, Royo has started this 4th base before the 3rd is even landed for Crazy. So he has gotten the correct read on his Terran opponent. He knows he's not going to be in danger for a few minutes here. It looks like both players are comfortable taking it to that late game, like both sides maxing out, recalls going everywhere, drops going everywhere. So both players very confident in their macro late game play, as we see from their choices here. A second observer here, just checking out the front. Crazy has yet to dislodge this one. You usually see this one die around now, or you know, when the Terran gets like a Goliath or two. But we don't even see any Goliaths. We just see a handful of tanks and a handful of vultures, like the thinnest defense the Terran can get away with. In the meantime, what tech do we see out of... Okay, all the armor tech is done. I don't think we have an actual armor done yet. I don't see stasis working, so maybe this is just finished. Okay, here we go. Okay, we have the stasis and arbiter. Definitely going to be online before any huge pushes come from Terran, which is these 4 factories. Starting to add more and more gateways. We're going to see the supply explode from Protoss as they start pumping out tons and tons of units on their 4 base economy. Royo starting to clear the map of mines, doing a very good job, not taking too much unnecessary damage, just losing 1 goon there, which is, you know, really understandable. Vulture's going to try to find some damage here. There are 2 cannons and a nice pylon wall, so it looks like only 2 probes go down, but a couple of Vultures die for it. I'm getting a few more probe kills, but I think overall Royo is going to be comfortable with this. I mean, 65 probes is like about the number that you want to stop at anyway. And Vultures are basically free, but if you give away all your Vultures, you basically give away any chance to pressure the Protoss for a decent amount of time. That's going to make Royo feel very safe. I mean, we have like just this new wave of Vultures out. So tanks really can't push without it, without some kind of protection. Just pure tanks will get run over. Looks like Crazy is moving on to getting a 4th base here. This command center is done. It's flying over. It looks like Royo does not want to let him take that for free. I think that's the right choice. See, Royo is suddenly 50 supply up. Crazy trying to reposition his tanks. Looks like the backup force here from Royo is not committing yet. Royo's not really, he hasn't really lost anything to get this pressure off, but he hasn't stopped the 4th base from going up. The 4 base Terran is starting to get really scary. You're going to get so many units. It's starting to take a few pot shots from tanks here. It's getting in territory where Royo, I think Royo has to make something happen while he's up like this. I mean, a 60 supply lead is very considerable. But eventually both sides will max out if you don't attack, right? But it looks like Royo is very well aware that he's got his arbiter here. Almost energy for stasis, not quite. Trying to go in to this fake high ground base. There's some idea of a wall and minefield here, but it's not complete. And it does not protect the mineral line, so the Zealots are going to get right up in here on the front line. Not that many mines, so Zealots are getting in there. Goon's doing more to stop the Zealots than the Terran units. We see a stasis here in the front, getting a decent amount of units. There's still a lot of defenders here in the backline, but a few SCVs have gone down. The 3rd Command Center might get sniped down. At the very least, it's been forced to fly away. It looks like Crazy well defended, starting to get more Vultures here in the front line, getting more and more mines, which will have to be killed in about 2 seconds to let the Command Center win. Let's see. So overall, I think Crazy did well in that defense. I thought it was really sparse, but I mean, this is why I lose in this matchup, because I think I can break the Terran. and I can't. So clearly I need to get better at judging that. I mean, over that exchange, basically Royo's supply stayed the same, and Crazy's went up. I don't know about this Vulture move out right into the attacking army of Protoss, but it does get some decent mine hits off. Is there not an observer here? I think there must have been like one observer that died to a turret in that push or something. I don't see it with the army. There we go. He's found one on the map. Going to clear these mines. Taking an offensive posture here for this mineral-only base. But at the same time, this group of Vultures just find the undefended 5th base. And this is my nightmare as Protoss. It's real obnoxious. I mean, I know that what I should do is just, you know, pile on, block off the choke, but that takes too much APM for my guerrilla Protoss hands. And then Vultures get in here and they lay mines and they kill stuff. I guess fortunately there were no probes here yet. But this Nexus might go down before these defenders get here. Probably not, especially without focus fire here. But it has drawn the army back. Well, are they going to Nexus? I don't know. We'll see. I think the Nexus, that's pretty huge. Yeah, I guess they are going to get it. And they've forced all these units to go up. Royo takes his 5th here instead, but you know, this is starting to get pretty gross for the Protoss. Both players are on even bases until this finishes, and that is not a position that Protoss wants to be in. Like, honestly, like, you want to be up 2 bases at least versus a 4-base Terran. And Royo is maxed out now, and he's starting to bank up money, but we're like just now going to see gateways come down, I think. We have some arbiters. I haven't been paying attention to the production tab because I'm bad, so I don't know if we're going to see recalls. We have the energy for 1 recall in 10 seconds, so Arbiter's really low. And at this point, Crazy's kind of gotten everything that he would want. Yeah, so he has +3 attack. He's almost maxed out. Losing a few Vultures out here. Actually throwing away a lot of Vultures. If he can get in here, it would be good. But honestly, I think at this point, when the Terran is maxed out, you don't need to sack these Vultures to buy time. You don't really need to harass right now. I think you need to be getting a big army together and doing something to the Protoss. I feel like we've seen both players have a very similar mindset of just keep building up, make some, you know, like some pressure, but not any like huge committed attacks. And I feel like it keeps bouncing between who is getting the better end of that deal. Alright, we see a bunch of tanks on siege here. Crazy is finally deciding to make some threatening moves, some real attacks on the map. So we're going to see, I would guess, 2 roughly maxed out armies clash in the middle. It's going to come down to control from both sides here. Who wins this fight? Royo actually had a very respectable 2-2 upgrades with 3-3 just starting. Armor, not super effective versus Terran when tanks do 85 damage per shot, but, you know, it helps with the Vultures and stuff. Terran definitely scales better with upgrades in this matchup, but the Protoss attack is pretty essential as well. So we saw a stasis. Royo not jumping in to capitalize on it. This is still a very scary spread of units. We're seeing some Templar mixed in. They've been more popular in this matchup lately. Storm is pretty good when the enemy units can't move out of it. Royo's trying to spread out to get a better arc, doing a decent job of it, but you know, obviously you could spend as much APM as you want trying to do that. This this vessel fishing for an EMP, but not finding its target. Either way, that Arbiter did not have a ton of energy on it anyway. This Arbiter moving in a position for a stasis, maybe when the engage happens. Whiff on that EMP, but still there's not the energy here. We see, what is this, the 5th base for Terran going up over here. Oh, and I forgot about that. Zealots running in, getting cleaned up by mines. Looks like that Arbiter got EMP, but we do see a stasis on 3 tanks here, a storm on these, but there's just so many tanks. All these goons have died. Looks like a group of Zealots was left behind. I do that every game. It makes me feel so bad. And overall, the Crazy is doing great after that fight. He still has all of his tanks. We're reinforcing almost immediately. He's going to get this new base up. And Arbiter goes down. Looks like all of the Arbiters went down, question mark? We got one over here that maybe just spawned, or probably just survived that fight. Now these top 2 bases from Rayo are in danger. That's a very short scoot over here to start sieging these bases. This base is definitely down. No probes here yet anyway, I think. More substantial investment in this base, but these gateways are going to be stuck trying to break out of this base. And let me tell you, it feels really bad trying to bust out of a base like this. Going through this like narrow choke into a slightly wider but still kind of narrow choke against a huge siege. It's very scary. Rayo is not going to let a Crazy do what he wants. He's going to try to get another base up over here, trying to flank that contain, but there's so many mines now that Crazy has map control. And that base goes down. These tanks are going to move up very slowly, try to siege down these gateways and cannons in here. This group of goons is trying to get to that siege, but there's so many mines. We have to be really careful. We just want to take a lot of unnecessary damage. Oh my god, and Crazy is taking this base. We are like I said, okay, 2 bases now away from seeing every single base on this map have a town hall at it. Very brave Elias. Trying to expand, or trying to run in here. In the meantime, Rayo has found an undefended base here. Absolutely nothing here to stop it. No mines, no depot wall, no tanks on the high ground. So he's going to be able to get 1 base at least in exchange for this one he's losing at the top. Just about all of the SCVs going down. The command center is going to go down there. Rayo back up in supply. Looks like these Templar did live long enough to get some storms. I wonder at what point do you just unsiege and run in there? Like I understand being the value of being careful, but it seems like Crazy maybe can speed it up just a little bit. And in the meantime, Rayo is taking advantage of this, about to take out a 2nd base here. Not too many resources left. Of course, the map spawns the resources with less stuff. Still losing the command center, losing the scanner, and losing more and more SCVs is going to cost the Terran eventually. We have a depot, or a Zealot finding this. Tanks out here. Oh, they've killed this base. I heard the sieges. I couldn't figure out what it was. A bunch of probes have gone down. Yeah, both players below 40 probes. Tanks just walking out to this base. It's only a handful of probes and resources here left. These tanks get cleaned up eventually, but it's starting to look real scary for Protoss. Oh my god, some value storms over here. This game has been slow for the whole time, but now it's starting to get more chaotic, but I think Terran is still getting the better end of it. Vultures even taking out cannons here at the last real mining base for Protoss, leaving these probes in danger. In the meantime, let's see, Terran Terran has like 1.5 mining bases, but they have like complete free reign to retake this one, at least. It's like Royale is going to try to contest that mining base, and there's actually still... There's not anything here on this high ground to defend this base, so can Crazy like rotate his army over in time here? I'm not sure. There's actually not a lot of tanks in this region. We have 3 down here. Finally, some more show up, and the goons run out of there immediately. They don't want any of that. But this last full resource mining base is being cleared out. The command center is not lifted yet. There we go. Maybe just a bit too late. I'm not sure that it'll make it out in time. Tank's going to try to contain this army up in this ramp, try to get some kind of punishment on the Protoss for committing to this. But honestly, like, the damage is kind of done. Both players are down to 30-ish workers. Rayo is up 20 supply again. Alright, oh, but the goons are in the front trying to go down this ramp. Going to take a ton of splash damage. A nice D-matrix on the front tank, keeping it alive. And all of these Protoss units are going to get cleaned up by these tanks here. We still have some tanks at this killed base. I have a feeling Crazy would really have appreciated having all these tanks in that fight down there, but he still won it. And now he's in a great position to threaten the last real mining base of the Protoss. In the meantime, over here, Crazy has re-established this base at the 3 o'clock. Still having to defend it there, but Rayo is going to have to spend everything he has trying to keep this fake high ground base up. It looks like he might have it for now. Just 4 tanks here and a few vultures. Crazy's army a bit scattered all over the map. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if he had all of this stuff together just now, there's no way that he would have lost that fight. But this is, this is Starcraft. It's really hard to micromanage everything and stay organized. This is like, it's really something that happens in Starcraft. It's like a penalty for being ahead. Like, it's hard to keep it all together when you're killing bases all over the map and your opponent tries to make like cute backstabs and you just have too much going on to get it all under control. In the meantime, I said a lot. Rayo has gotten his own high ground base back online. There are, like, I guess like a third of the starting resources here, but he's gonna need to take anything he can. We have a probe here, probably to reestablish some of these bases in the top of the map. And with that last defense, I think Rayo is getting into a better position, but rather than say that, Crazy just walks into this high ground base, so that is shut down for now. So Rayo's kind of going to be reset, staying at 1 mining base for now. These mines that have been littered on the map starting to do more damage, and oh my god, this base, again, another high ground base from Crazy, just completely undefended. Even like, just like some depots and like a turret and some tanks here would be really annoying. I guess we'd see a recall and get off, but at least the press would have to spend the energy. Crazy is not even going to try to stop that army. He's just going to go try to kill the Protoss main. If he can shut down these gateways, that will be checkmate for this game. But the Terran main isn't that well defended either. We could see some kind of base trade, especially when we have a couple of arbiters on the map. They're so valuable in these really close situations. Rayo trying to gather his forces for what I can only guess will be the final battle of this game. Now trying to keep these goons out of the considerable attack range of the tanks. Trying to build as much as you can out of these gateways, getting another arbiter. And I think there's enough Protoss to sandwich these unprotected tanks. I mean, there's a handful of mines. Well, a couple of zealots being overzealous. You know, losing I think like 4 or 5 of them there, which could add up. But I think if we see some sick Stacy's and we see the units run in all together from both sides, I don't see how Protoss can lose that fight. But here we go. Oh god, just a little bit split up, but still some huge stasises. It's like 8 tanks taken out of the fight, and Arroyo's zealots just crash over that. Mine's killing almost all of the vultures, and I think this like has to be game, right? Terran's kind of like bouncing between these 2 high ground bases, but with only 1 base of income and only 22 workers left in this 30-minute game, it's gonna be really hard to remax. I mean, all we see in the production tab is 1 SCV. So Crazy might be digesting the situation here. This is last tanks die out. I'm starting to see Archons, and you know that Protoss is getting desperate in this matchup if you ever see an Archon. They are really bad for Terran. But as you can see from the tab up here, we have a lot more gas than we have minerals as Protoss, so better than have nothing. A small group of units being scared away. EMP hits at least 1 Arbiter. Another one does keep enough energy for a stasis. Stasising 1 tank. But honestly, it's better than nothing, I guess. The numbers are this small, and now, once again, this base is in danger. But we have 4 tanks up here. Crazy has finally learned his lesson. And 4 tanks up a ramp is really deadly. But with all these Arbiters, we have nope, we have no energy for any kind of spell. So it's going to have to be a bit of a meat grinder for us to get up there. Mines are getting in the way. Only 1 zealot makes it up, but that's all it takes. We have a big storm on these tanks. Oh my god, it's so close. If this goes down, it's definitely over for Terran. 1 tank with D-Matrix. The storm kills all the SCVs trying to repair the tank, and Crazy taps out. That was a really close game there at the end. Nice game, nice game. Let's get into game number 2 on Shakura's Temple. There we go. Alright, in the bottom right, winning the first game now as the Blue Protoss on the Blue Protoss map, we have Rayo fighting for Team Rats. And in the top right, losing the last game by a hair, it felt like the Green Terran. Crazy. Oh. Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. There we go. Alright. I'll do that at least once every cast. So, this map, I haven't played this matchup on this map very much, but honestly, I don't... Well, I guess there's all the ramps in the middle. I guess you know, there's some ramps when you try to leave the, like, front yard area in front of your net. That can be really hard for both players if the other side controls the top of the ramp. But other than that, I think it's a pretty standard map in this matchup. Let's see what these players go for this time. Given my previous experience with Crazy, and given what we saw in the last game, I think this is going to be another long macro game. You know, these players don't, at least Crazy, I know, doesn't really cheese. Doesn't do a lot of early aggression. He can still like whip out a 2-fag every now and then, but it's not his preferred way to play the game. Royo sending out a very early scout for this matchup. I'm curious to see what this is for. He is, luckily for him, going to get the first scout. But I'm curious what he's doing in his own build that he needs that information. We might see an early Zealot come out, but it's not going to be like a forward gate or some really strong aggression. It's going to be, if we do see a Zealot, it'll be like to harass. But given that he's built this probe on 14, I don't think so. So what is this probe going to do? Like, it does cost something. Like, you know, you do lose some mining time for this. And what are we getting out of it? Checking the gas count, trying to figure out if it's a 2-fag or more standard play. Curious. I'm curious. Because, like, it, you know, what if he happened to last scout Crazy on a flow prayer map and he sent his probe out that quick? We have Lana is hot in the chat talking about how units get twisted and turned around on this map. Yeah, I definitely noticed that. I don't know if it's like the design of the map or just a boudoir being broken. But especially like in this spawn, if it's like PvZ and you wall off with like your forge here and your gateway here, units are so dumb trying to get out of your base. Like, you're pretty much have to like break your own wall down to get out. But I feel like in this matchup, the major sticking point is going to be like Terran trying to get out of this zone. Because like if Protoss is really on top of it with observers, you know, they have some goons here and some here and some here, and it can be kind of hard for Terran to make a big push out. But then, you know, on the same token, somehow, like, you know, tanks here are going to really punish units trying to get through this choke, and tanks here are going to punish people trying to go up this ramp, stuff like that. So Royal, it's like doing a very similar build to last game, getting two goons, and then expanding, and then getting a robo. Very standard, very safe build. These goons being extra dumb, forgetting that they have the range upgrade. I hate when they do this. Crazy, just like last time, has this tank out exactly the right time to avoid too much damage going down on that bunker. So that, wow, that probe just died. That probe has been there for a while. The goons are going home this time. Not opting to stay out there. I feel like you want to leave at least one there, right? Just to like see if any vultures come out, or like see if some tanks come out with marine backing. I guess because we had that probe in here, he's not too worried about some kind of 2-fag. We didn't see the second factory go down right after the command center, so it's not, you know, a fac CC fac push. So maybe Rayo just knows what's going on and feels comfortable playing in the dark for a little bit. Yeah, it looks like we're going to see a very early third if this probe is actually put here for that. I mean, we're just now getting our second gateway. We don't see a third in production. So it looks like Rail is going to be even more economy oriented than we saw last game. And I think he's going to get away with it. Don't see any major signs of aggression. Looks like we've canceled a machine shop. Mike, is it, would units have been stuck between like the shops and the depot maybe? Curious, but you know, that's annoying. It's like what, like 30 seconds or so of factory build time gone. So one thing different from last game is we saw the armory before even the second factory last game. And we do not see an armory at all yet. So Crazy is changing up a little bit. Oh, here we go. We have a third factory, a fourth factory, and I can only imagine a fifth factory. And we're certainly going to have some kind of early 2-base push here. And that's going to make this very different from the previous game. Here we go. Factory number 5. The Observer gets here exactly at that critical 7-minute mark. Pro tip, as I've been told by many people. You really want to get an Observer in turn base, ideally at 7 minutes, but like before like 7 minutes and 30 seconds, because so many Terran builds happen to diverge in that point of time. Like we could have seen a third command center start, or a starport start, or something like that start in about this time period, and now Rayo is going to know exactly what is coming. Like if you see this many factories at this point in the game, you know exactly what's going to happen. There's no like, well, maybe he's going to get his factories and then go to a quick third and fourth base. No, like he's doing this. He's going to pump units out of 5 factories, and he's going to push. So this kind of play is really hard for pros to deal with, just because it requires like really precise timing, like knowing when to cut probes, make a bunch of gateways, and then pretty tight control versus the push. I mean, we can see that. I was going to talk about how maybe this isn't the best map for that, because what if we saw goons up here? But Crazy, you know, he pushes out just a little bit earlier than I was expecting, and he's able to secure the high ground before Rayo can get too many goons up there, and that's actually a really smart play. Keeping that from happening, and now this amount of goons cannot fight this amount of tanks. These tanks are going to get a few pot shots off, kill 2 goons here, and every unit counts. And these mines, like, they might be able to cut off the goons if they try to swing back around. These goons are taking a long run around. They're going to try to fight reinforcements, because they know they can't fight the main army just yet. This is a very smart tactic from Rayo, but I don't know if it's going to work out this time, because Crazy is already at his front door. And here we go. That the Natural is basically undefended. Where is the army of Royal? We have a couple of slow zealots and 2 goons here in the main. All of the probes have been evacuated. What happened to all those goons? Oh, okay, here they are, here they are. But I don't think it's enough to save this base. It was some like sick mine drag or something, but the mines aren't that close to the tanks. And these 2 tanks are gonna come over here and pressure the third. So it's really gonna come down to, can this one breakout kill all of these tanks? And I really don't think that they can. Goons are getting caught up fighting vultures. Some mines go down. Oh, we could see some mine drags. Wow, alright, apparently I'm really bad at figuring out how fights are going to go, because Perez cleans that up. Definitely not cleanly. They have lost their natural nexus. We don't have any probes at the third. But the Terran gave up a lot for that push. Kind of all of their potential for development was held back for a long time. Oh, we got more probes going down. These 2 zealots spawned at just the right time to keep vultures from going into main. And losing these vultures is actually gonna set back Crazy a lot. He's basically going to reset to no army. Yeah, like there's no reason for these vultures to fight here. And there you go. So what is Crazy going to do to recover from losing that push? I don't want to say this build isn't all in, but it is a very high cost. We just see the 3rd command center starting at, you know, just shy of 11 minutes. I think last game we saw it at like 7 or 8 minutes. The Protoss 3rd is up. The Natural is being rebuilt. Terran is still up in SCVs, but I imagine that's going to change pretty quickly once we see probe production resume. Oh shit. Excuse me. I missed these vultures getting into the main. I'm gonna have more probes die. Is that like 10 probe kills? Well, wasn't Protoss just at like 39 or something. Wow, this one Vulture is 9 kills. Absolutely brutal. Okay, this is, you know, it was starting to... Before that happened, this game was kind of in the... maybe a bit better for Protoss, but now it's more in the range of, okay, I think Terran is ahead after that. They have 1.5 times the worker count. They're crazy. Might have a bit of struggle actually planting this third command center down, but the army is starting to be rebuilt for Terran. Not a ton of units for Protoss, and more Vultures trying to get in. But Crazy has been just relentless with these Vultures all series. Like, they don't even all work, but he just doesn't give up on being really annoying with these Vultures. And this is something that, like, he's worked on this season of CPL, because he used to be like the most like Artosis, like sit on your 2 bases or even like 3 bases sometimes and max out and then push. But now he is basically that player, but also he likes to suicide Vultures around, and it's definitely working this game, just keeping the probe count down. I mean, who cares if you have 3 bases if you don't even have 30 workers yet? And like, both players are like not really making more workers. Like, a Crazy has been at, you know, the low 40s range 5 minutes now. In the meantime, there's a push out here from Terran. I don't like that, and it's easy for me to say that. I mean, in hindsight like this, so many tanks getting caught out on siege, Zealots getting on top of them, but now all the Zealots are dead. Goons are starting to take damage. We're back down to 4 tanks. I feel like we're like 10 or 12 tanks. And in this situation, I don't think that Crazy had to push at all. All he had to do was like secure this area and this area to get this base up. I don't think there's any reason to push up this ramp, and there was no like haste. There was no urgent need to do that, given the like worker lead. And it's like it's closer to being even again. If Protoss can kill this third, then I think Royal will be ahead. Crazy is going to scout it. Is he going to get units over there in time? Royal is giving him a break here, leaving these units here, not committing to running up here and killing a bunch of SCVs. Oh, here we go, just in time. 2 tanks and a handful of supporting units. Is it going to be enough? Ooh, that Zealot gets clipped by the mine at the last second, but now there's more Zealots, and these 2 tanks are not going to be enough. And now this third base might be in trouble, and we just have like 1 or 2 tanks coming in at a time. That's never going to do it. And now this third base is going to go down. The SCVs aren't even trying to leave. Crazy, what are you doing, man? You had it. Oh no. This is why Terrans complain about this matchup. It's so easy to make like 1 or 2 really small mistakes and lose your whole army and lose a base and lose the game. I don't know if it is going to be wiped out yet, but more tanks are going to get chewed up by this gateway army. The third command center is safe because Terran is a dumb race that can fly their buildings away. But now Rayo is back in the worker lead after so many were massacred for such a long period of time. Crazy scanning the main again, trying to figure out what situation he's in. Not a whole lot of development from Rayo. Just starting a +1, just starting his Templar archives. I don't think we see a Stargate or anything. So I don't know if it's going to be Arbiters or just straight Templar tech, but it's just now starting at 16 minutes, so we basically have Gateway Men for now. I feel like if Protoss had any kind of tech, and if Protoss had been making probes consistently, Terran would absolutely be out of this game. But for now, I think if Crazy can get that third base resituated soon, it'll be okay. We still only have the Protoss on 3 bases. And Crazy keeps trying to force his way across this ramp, and I don't like it at all. it feels really unnecessary for him to fight over this ground. It's not helping him get a base, and it's making it hard to defend this base. We go a bunch of mines taking out zealots. Oh my god, so much friendly fire there. Just 4 tanks here at the bottom of this ramp. Is this enough goons? Arrow trying to spread. Is he gonna? I think he's gonna get these goons, get these tanks, but at an extreme cost. You can go down to like 2 goons here at the end. But overall, I mean, of course, that's good. As Protoss, you generally happily trade your army for the turn 1. Is it going to give this command center time to get up over here instead? Maybe this is why Crazy really wanted this this zone of the map, so we can, you know, push and expand in the same direction. What do we have from Protoss? We have like a bunch of zealots and some goons popping out, and oh my god, which goon has to go all the way around like this? It's like this gateway, like the units go like that. That's ridiculous. Meantime, this vulture has been scouting out these potential base locations. This is really a diligent move on the part of Crazy in really like tight, chaotic, weird situations like this. You absolutely need information, and he's not scouting every single base, but like these are the bases that a Protoss would take if they were trying to sneak a base out right now. We have another Protoss force trying to threaten this new 3rd base, but there's way more tanks. The vultures are nearby harassing. Mines are getting some hits on the on the Protoss army, and I don't think that Protoss can take out this position here. But in the meantime, we do see probe production coming back online for the most part, getting up to a much healthier count of probes. SCVs are coming in like 1 at a time or so. Finally, we see an Arbiter and the Stasis research starting at 19 minutes. So basically, like, this kind of looks like a regular game that's like 10 minutes behind. Like 10 or 11 minutes. With like a low SCV count. Crazy does have 2-1, which is kind of wild. I think Protoss is just at 1 attack with +2 attacks started. Terran upgrades scale really well. Yeah, we're gonna get to that 3rd attack upgrade. Get those tanks up to that ridiculous 85 damage. You see a vessel starting. Oh, and we have another one already. So with some sick EMPs, Crazy can nullify the armor check. Being really annoying, killing that probe before he can build the 4th, buying himself a lot of time. If Crazy had more SCVs, I'd say this is a really uncomfortable position. Well, we're about to see him even that up. Probes dying really fast to these vultures, and it just about does even up the worker count, and now Terran is going to feel really good. Like, being on equal income to the Protoss, and being up on upgrades, and being just about equivalent on tech. That's the dream for Terran. Royo making some offensive moves on the map, but like there's no base here yet. Crazy might be thinking about building a command center here, and that's like why Protoss is run over here. But it's not really any loss for Terran if he has to build the command center here, right? And it looks like he's decided to defend this area anyway. Is that going to leave this base too open? I don't think so. This is a lot of things. I would like to see like more mines up here, maybe. We want some vultures in here to block. Well, let's see. Rayo is going in. Does he have enough energy for stasis? Not just yet. But all these zealots just get right on top of the tanks. Where are the vultures? there's not really any vultures. There's like just tanks everywhere, and we don't have anything to block all these zealots. And now this third base is in danger. I'm really bad at figuring out how this game is going to go. And Crazy has to lift the third command center again. Finally, all these tanks show up to throw these zealots into the meat grinder. Who gets the better end of that? I guess it's Terran. Yeah. All right. Well, apparently Royal agrees with me because he tapped out. I was kind of scared that like that was all going to go down, but those reinforcing tanks that had been sent over to this base did come back and save the third, and Royal decided that he had enough of this game. And with that, with our first series of the night, we are going to get to Game 3. I feel like a lot of these CPL series end up being 2-0. And this seems like a really even match. Like, both games have been like really back and forth until the final fight. Alright, let's get into Game 3 on Polypoid. In the bottom right, this time sporting the purple. Getting bested in Game 2, it's Royo. And in the top left, winning last game after a very scrappy 5-fact push, it's Crazy in the green Terran. Alright, so Polypoid, a very standard map. Thankfully, I'm glad to see Fighting Spirit out. I like this a lot more than Fighting Spirit, and not just because it's new. I think there's a lot more interesting terrain stuff going on. Given that it's cross spawns, the high ground base with the mineral only high ground bases aren't directly on the push paths for either player, but this is going to be useful for defending. So I'm not going to see like any weird positional imbalance due to the rotational symmetry of the map here. I would wager a good amount of money that we're going to see standard builds out of both players again. Not going to see any one base shenanigans. Crazy did go for that 5-fact, and it went pretty well. I don't know if he'll do it again. I don't know if it went well enough that he'd be like, oh, alright, I can just win that again. I know I've done that in some of these series that I played. Like, I had a different build planned out for each map. But like after my build in game 1, like completely stomped him, and I could tell that my opponent didn't know. They just hadn't faced it, and they didn't know how to stop it. I'm like, alright, forget my plan, I'll just keep doing that until it works. Or until I lose, and I just win the whole series, because they don't know how to stop 12 decks. But like that, the performance of that 5-fact was pretty good, but that was a scrappy enough game that especially in the moment, I could see Crazy deciding not to do that again. Ooh, this is different. So Royo, who has gone for the 2 goon expand every time, now puts down a pylon at this random high ground base, which immediately gets scouted. I'm really curious what that's for. My guess is that it's literally just supposed to be a fake out. Like, the Terran is going to scout his base and be like, oh, he's missing a pylon, where's his proxy? My guess is it's not for a proxy. Now, of course, there's always Casper Curse, right? So who knows? But like, it's already been scouted. I don't know if Crazy noticed it on the minimap, but it's like he's gonna see it there. I'm really confused. Why is he scouting across the map and not going to the bottom right? Maybe he's like been absolutely confused by this pylon. I don't know what's going on. Is this gonna make a different proxy over here? This is getting interesting. Okay, so this one has to be for proxy, right? Is mining a mineral? What's going on, dude? I'm lost. We don't have a Nexus yet. I guess he's not actually proxying. I guess he's just putting these pylons out to scout while his probe is out there. Crazy, the actual madman, sees at least one pylon off on the map and decides to put his command center on the low ground anyway with no bunker. What is going on in this game? Is this the real game? Is my replay broken? Everybody's moving around. Just what is going on here, dude? I think we're gonna see a Nexus at the very normal 28 supply timing. So I don't know what this deal with these pylons is. We don't see any commitment to proxy. Maybe it's the kind of thing where he puts them down. If he can proxy something, great. If he can't, whatever. It doesn't cost very much. Very strange. But it looks like we're still going to get to a normal macro game at the end of it. This SCV is somehow wiggling his way in the Pro space. Going to see Robo and the Nexus timing, and know everything is very good. Two goons coming in here to pressure the bunker, but that tank is up at the perfect timing, like we've seen all 3 games now in this series. I see in the chat there weren't any Vulture drops last game. I mean, these are going to be positioned in a nice place if there are drops. It's just weird, like, to see them come out this early. Like, it was like his second and third pylon. Yeah, there's only one pylon in the main. It's actually constricting his SimCity just a bit here. And we're seeing some more pylons come down in the natural. Alright, what do we got here? Are we going to see the Armory or the second factory come down? Crazy. We've seen 2 different builds today. We second guess. Oh, never mind. We do see the Armory for the second factory. So Crazy returning to a style more like the first game that we saw on Sylphid. It led to him getting that fast third and eventually even a fast fourth phase. This is more the style that Crazy is comfortable with, or at the very least that I see him use more often. And just like the first game, Royo is getting 3 gateways and observers. Should make him safe to everything. Now, unlike the previous games, there we go, this observer is just now moving, was not even like on a path to go to the Terran main. Is it going to keep going? Well, even if it goes there, it's taking a weird route. Looks like maybe he's more devoted to clearing out lines here so he can get his third really fast, but you know, this is gonna be a problem. Oh my god, the probe gets sniped. I hate that. I hate that so much. It's so annoying as Protoss. Like, there's like 4 goons here trying to defend that probe and it still gets killed by a Vulture. How does he know? How did he know? How did he know? How did he know that was exactly when the probe was gonna come out? Ridiculous. Oh my god, you get it again? How? How do you know to time that? I hate that when that happens. Oh my god, if Vulture comes out, kills this probe, I'm gonna close the stream and go scream into a pillar or something. Alright, anyway, like I was saying, we finally have this observer crossing the map, but it's not gonna get there until like 8 minutes. That's a minute late. And this game, Crazy isn't going for that kind of 2-base push, but if he was, that observer would be like too late to see it coming and pick the right response. As it is here, we have the 3rd command center coming down at a very fast timing. Crazy is pre-positioning some tanks up here on the ramp, leaving his natural completely undefended. I don't know if we have enough from Protoss to actually take advantage of that, though. Looks like he's going to take his own base. I assume this 4th base is going to come down when that observer figures out what's happening. And the observer has stopped here. So from this positioning and this kind of units, you could probably guess that it's a quick 3rd base. Okay, here we go. Now, so clearly, Abreu is better than me. I have made this mistake plenty of times, but because I need something to talk about as a caster, I'm going to keep harping on this observer timing. It's just like a minute and a half late. This is actually a really big deal. So Royo has kind of been playing in the dark until now. The +1 attack on vehicles is about to finish. The science facility is going to be just a little bit late. Not going to allow like smooth timing into that +2, but still going to be very early. Excuse me, taking some water. And we do have that 4th base coming down right away for Protoss. You do not want to sit on 3 bases first. 3 bases like we saw last game. Big SCV transfer to the 3rd base. Now this is mineral only, and there's only 6 mineral nodes. So it's not huge on the income, but it's a very, very valuable position for Terran to have. Because with this base, you know, you cover like this whole flank. Oh, but you can't direct on the minimap, my bad. You cover like this whole flank, and you kind of cover this area too. So it's a very easy base for Terran to have, and then it's not that hard for Terran to like take this base and like depot wall off this ramp. And you kind of protect all 4 bases by controlling like this area. And really that like that quick 4 base Terran, again, is like what Crazy really likes to play. And what do we see from Royo? The Tribunal is coming up. A bit delayed, but delayed by the fast 4 base. It's certainly going to be up in time to deal with any kind of push from Crazy. Oh my god, 5 factories going down. Going up to 9. So probably not going to see a 4th base before a big push. Maybe like a 150 or even maxed out 3 base push here. With 2-1, yeah, it's going to be a very deadly push. So a bit different from last game, or from the first game, is my guess. Those Arbiters are going to be up just in time, like maybe 1 with stasis. I'm really bad at trying to figure that out in my head, so we'll just find out together. The armor upgrade probably started before the archive was done. Whoa, so armor first? I don't even know. I like. Is that good? I see a lot of. Oh, hold on. There's a second forge somewhere. Okay. Wait. Are there 3 forges? But there are 3 forges. Looks like Royo overbuilt forges a little bit. That's alright. But what I was going to say is that I often see Protoss players just get attacked because, again, who cares about 2 points of armor when tanks do so much damage? But the armor doesn't make things worse. Okay, it looks like I was absolutely wrong. Oh my god, the Ursidon. Rip. Looks like Crazy is going to think about that 4th base before he maxes out and pushes across the map. We have a ton of vultures going out. Like, this is not like a vulture harassment anymore. This is just a vulture push. If it does commit to killing anything. Oh man, of all the routes to take on the map directly past the defending Protoss, I don't know if I like this. These mines are going to end up with basically no trouble. But there are no cannons or goons on this high ground. So we could see a good amount of probes go down. Royo has kind of overmade them though. Oh, Zealous trying to drag mines into the vultures. It does not happen, but like 2 Zealots take out all those mines. They do save most of the probes here. So overall fine for Royo. Vultures checking in based on the map. The 4th command center is coming up online. If both players have 4 bases, it's really good for Terran. Both players getting close to that max out. This is looking more and more like the first game. You see all these vultures like trying to make moves on the map. but I don't know what moves there are to be made. Looks like a probe was thinking about doing something. It does get shut down. We have a mine here. Another Ursa. Is Crazy going to kill this one too? Good's trying to hunt down Vultures. Vulture's going to try to make it to the third base maybe, but there's so many Zealots. Like every Zealot from Ire is hanging out. They're going to run over and kill these bikers, trying to kill their robot buddies. Goons an Arbiter. I don't know if they were up there, but now they're going to come back and clear some mines. We see the and SCV Crazy getting ready to take a 5th base before the Protoss maybe. Rayo is definitely like thinking about that part of the map, but I don't know if he's gonna check the top right. He's going over to hang out by this old school scatter pylon. That was like a prodigal pylon. It's been gone for so long. Now it's finally welcome back into the Protoss family. So more Vultures getting cleaned up, and like I said this before, but even as cheap as Vultures are, like eventually it really adds up, right? Like if you keep losing Vultures and not getting too many probe kills this game. Fortunately, when you have a billion factories, it's not that bad. But like Crazy could be maxed already, right? Now he's gonna have to sit back a bit longer. Wait, what do we have? Is that observer speed upgrade? I think I saw. I thought it was the scout speed, and I thought it was losing my mind. This SV is still parked here. No command center started yet here. There's a bot spamming in my chat. Awesome. It's like a rite of passage, right? Like I finally have someone advertising a scam in my chat. It's awesome. I made it. I'm a real streamer. Here we go. A probe thinking about taking a base in the left side of the map. There's already a Vulture with a big minefield here, so Crazy would be aware of that if it went down. Rayo thinking about pressuring this base, but at the same time Crazy has unsieged his tanks and is getting ready to move across the map. Is he aware of where this army is? Okay, well he just scanned, so yes. But this does leave a window of opportunity here. We saw that a lot in the first game. Like Crazy would just leave bases completely unprotected and Royal would find them. It looks like this time Royal is deciding to contest the fight rather than to take a base, or contest the army movement. Oh my god, a very rude pylon blocking the desired command center location, but I said it before, Terran is broken, dude. You can't pylon block them. They can just build it over here. Ridiculous. This Arsenal, how did it get all the way over here? Like, it starts in this base, and it's wandered here in the middle of this gigantic fight. It looks like Rayo has decided that he does not want to fight the maxed out Terran army, and is now gone to take out the space, and this is starting to look, again, a lot like the first game. Crazy having trouble controlling the Protoss movement later in the game and losing bases for it. In the meantime, we have a Protoss base here on this high ground. No probes there yet, but there's going to be transferred. Oh, a nice stasis on this army as it tries to come back and defend this base. And suddenly this Terran army really doesn't look very big at all. There must have been some losses that I didn't see, but there's no way that this amount of tanks can fight this army. And now Rayo has taken out a base and the army of Terran. Like, suddenly this game is looking very, very good for Protoss. Like, what happened here? Like, what did I miss? We saw like a big Terran army over here, and when it's over here, it was down like 40 food. I don't know. We do have that command center flying over. The SUV is not smart enough to wait. scanning just to get a few shots off with these tanks, or wow, just one volley off. And now Rayo is going to feel very confident. He's cleared out that vulture, so the bottom left is going to be his soon. So one thing about taking your 5th base here, or I guess this is your 6th base, is you don't have a place to put more gateways. And you can see this in the huge amount of money that Rayo has banked up. If you had a base here, as was denied by that vulture, you could have, you know, a ton of gateways here to remax, which is pretty vital to this strategy. As it is, Crazy is getting some time to remax here. He could do it. I really hope he doesn't keep throwing away vultures like this. It is slowing down the development of his army. He has managed to sneak the space, but right as I say that, I feel like Rayo has figured it out. And just 2 tanks here is not going to be enough to defend that, and this is just another blow to Crazy's chances in this game. How many SCVs are going to make it out? Looks like maybe 1. Nope, none of those SCVs make it out. Meantime, Rayo takes, what is this, base number 7 in the bottom left. The command center at the mineral only is just now being rebuilt. Alright, we do have this army at about 170 supply, which can be scary, but Protoss is maxed out. We have a couple of Arbiters, like 2 stasis, and we've seen Rayo be really good with stasis in these games, so I'm pretty confident he can pull that off. Here we go. This might be the last fight of the game. Terran needs this to go very well. He needs to get those bases back up. I just noticed Protoss is at 90 probes, so that does mean that their army is not quite as strong as you would guess from the supply count, and now Crazy is at 190. We have a meh stasis. Getting the vessel is kind of like the only redeeming value of that stasis. 3 vultures is not really going to cut it. But once again, the Protoss army is going to take advantage of the lax defense here. There's nothing to stop this base from going down again, and this base is absolutely going to go down. But Terran did not need to move his whole army here. There are only 3 cannons, like 12 vultures or something, to take care of that. In the meantime, Protoss is going to take out this base yet again. This base had just finished. So what is Crazy going to accomplish in the meantime? This base is pretty undefended. This base is pretty undefended, and the main and natural are pretty undefended. But Rayo has a huge bank to rebuild. He really like needed gateways here like 2 minutes ago at the latest. That would make it so much more. Not having those gateways is going to make it so much harder to break out as Protoss. Let me put it that way. But looks like both players are going to try to wipe out the main bases of each other. Terran just now getting a wave of tanks, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Crazy, I don't like the choice to siege up here. I think he has to like walk in the main if he's going to commit to killing, to doing a base trade like this. If he tries to play it safe and like siege at the bottom of the ramp, we are going to see a ton of gateway units pull up in the main, and then support this group when they come back to flank. And I don't think we have anything in the Terran base that can stop this. It's said very often, but getting right on top of the factories is really a checkmate move versus Terran. If their units can't group up, they'll just die one by one. Of course, you know, a gateway unit can come out one at a time too. They do a little bit better in that situation, and Terran units get weaker as they, you know, when they try to run the ramp. We'll see. I'm actually not 100% sure. I guess it depends on how much attrition Protoss is going to take. they are using their stasis energy on kind of like these lone units in the main. Could make any kind of final confrontation a lot better for Terran. But overall, I think given this space, given that we're finally seeing gateways come out, looking at the supply count, seeing that Protoss is up 40 workers, I think they are ultimately getting the better end of this base trade. And Crazy does not have this gigantic bank to rebuild everything somewhere. He also doesn't have like a real estate, like we see in this bottom left base. And this is the most relatable thing I've seen. Like, Rose is like, oh god, I must get these gateways up, and like he doesn't have the pylons set up. You just have to like build gateways wherever he can. It's gonna be this huge mess. Like there's gonna be like screwed up rallies in here. Like this is my experience of playing Protoss. You know, we don't have like some like a beautiful gateway flower or something where all the units flow quickly. And Crazy has figured out about this bottom left base, but is it too late? This is a much weaker force than we saw take out the main. These gateways are getting aligned. The Protoss force is going to come down and sandwich these tanks, and I think this is going to be it for Crazy. I think Royo is going to win this series. So we have, well, do we have Arbiter Energy? Stasis is going to be really important in this fight. We have a big clump of tanks. There we go, here's the other Arbiters. Only mana for one stasis right now, but all you need is one money stasis, like right on this tank. Reo is gathering his forces together, getting ready to sandwich this contain. He's still building up. I'm waiting for it to happen. Terran is in the red supply. But it's not like he can build anything anyway. Man, Red is really taking his time here. But you can't blame him. It's game 3 of a pretty sick series. Just has to get this last engage right. He knows Terran is, yeah, pretty much out of the game. There we go, a big stasis on these unsieged tanks even. Oh, another stasis. Looks like he was taking the time to get more mana on these Arbiters. And with this, I'm pretty sure the last forces of Crazy in this series are going to go down. There you go. And Royo with a very hard-fought, high-level PvT, I would say. This is for CPL. Crazy fighting valiantly, but ultimately falling in the end. Let's get into series number 2 pretty quick. It is going to be a ZBZ, so it'll be over a lot faster than that one, I imagine. There we go. Sick. Alright, I got rid of the spammer. And let's get into series number 2. We have Hazelnut versus Stormcarlin. Alright, in the top middle of Neo Sylphid, fighting for Team Rats, it's Hazelnut. And in the bottom right, in the brown Zerg, it's Molasses Zerg, aka Stormcarlin, the team captain of Amigos. I just want to give a shout out to Stormcarlin, who casted my game on Saturday. Did not cast any of the weeks that I won. Picked the week where I lost. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's see, in this game. So, ZVZ, you know, in my scrubbly, Protoss brain, I feel like ZVZ is relatively map independent. I mean, of course, there's always going to be things that matter about the map, but one of the big features of Sylphid is the fact that the main is not on high ground. That you have just the choke to the natural, not the ramp. That can make defending a lot weaker. That matters a bit in this matchup, but like you basically always have vision of the high ground anyway because of the overlords, right? So I feel like it's not as good. Like I feel like it's not as big of a difference from ramps in this matchup. You know, if a certain player actually knows what I'm talking about, feel free to correct me. So it looks like we have Stormcarlin going for gas and then pool on 9, and we have Hazily going for pool and then gas. So what could that mean? Let me try to figure it out. I mean, that certainly seems more aggressive from Strom. Is it going to go into fast speed or fast layer? In the meantime, and Strom even has 2 more drones. Like, I'm kind of curious, like, what is the disadvantage of this build? Like, okay, wow, layer immediately. Not even struggling with it, not even like worrying about speed. And so is Hazily. Maybe I really just don't know what I'm talking about. So we are gonna have 6 lings against only 4 at first. There we go. Yeah, we are gonna see 2 more, and they will spawn in time to defend Strom here. So how much of a lead in layer timing does she have? Wait, what? The layer of Hazily is faster, I guess, because the pool came first. Okay, now I'm just really confused about the point of this build. Pulling up a ton of gas though, so maybe it just means that you're gonna get the actual mutas faster. Sorry, everybody. I play Protoss. I don't really know what's going on. Some positioning around here, around the choke here. Strom has made this nice little wall. Has an overlord outside her own base, so she get complete vision of what's going on. We'll see the Spire go down. And Strom's Spire actually starts just a bit earlier. But she's got plenty of gas pulled up. Is going to have no trouble making mutas once it comes up. Hazily has opted to get speed. Is it going to be enough of an advantage to break the choke? I don't think so. I think we have more links here from Strom. There's a few more hiding in the back. Killing this egg can be important, but you have to be really careful about how you do it, or what we saw will happen where these links kind of wander off. Get killed. That is going to make it hard for Hazily to break this defense, and I feel like it has to be better for Strom, right? Ooh, we have a second hatchery coming down, so we're going to see a ton of mutas coming out. Yeah, we could even see 6 mutas pop. I don't know the timing on this. Is this hatchery going to finish? I feel like maybe it needed to be started just a little bit earlier. Maybe the build doesn't work at all if you do that. But overall, I mean, eventually we're going to see a lot more mutas for Stormcarlin. And how is Hazily going to deal with that? It doesn't seem like she can win on the ground if Strom commits to being on the defense. And this Overlord is going to go down right away. And that is going to mess with the unit production of Hazily. It's actually going to cap her here. Going to have to build another Overlord before any more mutas come out, and that's just going to give Strom more time to get a big muta ball. As I say that, I realize that she is also supply blocked. Fortunately, this Overlord is almost done. Looks like Hazley has decided to take her own second hatchery at her natural. Is it going to have time to come up? Yeah, we're going to be at 9 mutas for Strom. And even with a pair of Scourge, and we only have, what does it say, 3 mutas? For Hazley, we're seeing 2 more come out, along with a Carapace upgrade. That's definitely not going to finish before any fight comes out. And without, like, a bunch of Scourge from Hazley, I don't see how she could win this, right? I mean, I'm trying to play it up, but, like, 9 mutas is more than 3 mutas. I'm pretty sure 9 mutas is even more than 5 or 6 mutas. So let's see what goes down here. I don't think Hazley's ready. Scourge get a muta immediately. Yeah, and these mutas from Hazley, they cannot escape. Very nice moving shot here from Strom, able to just cut them down immediately. And then what do you do now? What do you do when you're down 8 mutas to 1? I think all you do is GG out. She's gonna try to break this choke, but I mean, the mutas that are popping out of these hatcheries should be able to kill the lings, right? Oh, and the lings are not being smart about it. They're, you know, running back and forth, and I really hate when it's Spying is doing that. But even though they break the lings, the spawning mutas from Strom Carlin are going to clean them up. And that was a very interesting build from Strom. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen 1 base 2 hatchery muta like that. And it seemed like Hazley had not seen it either, because she kind of got wrecked. By the way, the quote-unquote molasses Zerg had 243 APM, according to the end of that replay. So I think that's what we call sandbagging. But let's get into game number 2. All right, in the bottom left, getting surprised by that cheeky muta build in game 1. It's the White Zerg Rats Hazley Nut, and in the top left, winning that game, misrepresenting her hand speed, it's the Red Zerg Strom Carlin. So I talked about ZVZ being kind of map independent before. I feel like this map is even more strongly that. Like, the unique features of this map I don't really see them mattering. All this ramps and stuff, I don't really see that making a big difference. Looks like both players somehow scouting the right direction, which is cool. That's going to mean that both players are going to get the scout off basically as soon as possible. Going to really limit the period of darkness where they don't know what their opponent is doing, which could limit build order wins, like not eliminate them, but make it a lot harder for player just to get blind countered. Let's see what the builds actually are. Looks like we have a 9 hatch from Strom, as opposed to I guess 9 pool and then 9 gas, or something like maybe 9 pool 8 gas. I don't know, but this is a matchup that I've seen a lot more in this matchup, a build matchup. I mean, this kind of early hatch is not for drones. It's definitely gonna be for a big flood of lings, pretty much like a ling all in kind of style. So kind of like the polar opposite almost from last game, where we focused entirely on mutas. Now Strom is going to focus on getting just a flood of lings. What is Hazley going to do? Very similar to last game, get that lair as soon as we have 100 gas. Getting those 6 lings. So here you go. This is a matchup that I understand a lot more. It's going to be a window of time where Hazley has gas, and so even if she's a bit behind on the lane count, she's going to have a very strong ground army. But then if Strom can get her speed done without taking too much damage, it's going to be a while before Hazley can get her mutas up. So she might have to make a sunk or two. Strom might be able to either just kill Hazley or get up Evos and get her own slower mutatech. Well, okay, those drones were definitely at risk there. A very quick pullback on the drones, and the Ling spawning just in time is going to keep Strom in this game. And actually, her gas isn't that much later, given the fast lair of Hazley. So, oh man, this egg kind of blocking Strom. I don't know if that was good or bad for her, but she is going to get a much better trade on the Lings of Hazley here. And this is going to put Hazley in a really bad position because she's just going to have half the speedlings, right? Can she buy enough time for the Spire? I feel like probably she should know, like, if she got lair before speed, she really doesn't have any advantage over Strom. What she really has to do is hold the ramp, right? I think the only way that she can play this is just stuff the ramp with Lings, try to get a nice arc, try to get really good trades, and buy time for that Spire to get up. But she has to micro like a god to block their ramp right now. Can she keep Strom off the ramp? Getting decent trades, but there's so many Lings from Strom, and there's going to be more coming. We have a sunken. The sunken part is just now morphing. Can Hazley block her? The drones aren't able to help in the fight until all of the Lings are dead. Now it's just the Lings versus drones, and I think Strom has done it. Yeah, this sunk is going to get focused down. Well, sunk survived. Okay, no, the sunk does go down. Technically, Hazley survives that, but she's down 3 drones. She can only get 1 muta. She has a gas for 1 more, and then she's not even mining gas. In the meantime, we're just going to see a ton of Lings come out of Strom, and I don't think Hazley can stop it. Even though 1 muta just won't be able to kill Lings fast enough. Let's see, I don't think there's any chance that there's 4 Lings to hold it off. We have a muta and the Scourge. That has to be just like super sad. They do kill the Overlord, but they're not going to help this fight at all. Lings deciding to kill the Spire. And Hazley taps out. And Strom wins that entire series faster than the first game of our first series. And that's easy for you. And now let's get into series number 3. We have Chess versus Lana Is Hot, who has been in the chat a bit today, which is always exciting. Chess, I know I've seen pretty active in the CPL Discord. Both these players have casted before. I didn't mention it, but Storm Carlin does do casts, usually on Saturday. She also runs like the Rogue City Rumble and cool events like that. Very active in the community. But now I'm done doing that. Let's get into the first game of series number 3. Alright, we're back on Sylphid in the top middle. In the bluish gray Zerg, it's Chess, aka Bald Flash. And in the bottom left, the chat hero, the brown Protoss, Lana Is Hot. I don't know if it's Lana or Lana. Probably Lana. So PvZ is a matchup that I know a decent amount more. That I know, that I am more familiar with than CVZ. Of course, I still lose it all the time, so who knows? Who knows? This map, people don't like the walls on this map, but honestly, I think the walls are okay, like, the bottom right spawn is kind of particular, but this spawn is like a completely standard wall. What I don't like is the fact that, like, you have this choke here for the natural, and then there's a huge space for Hydras to arc. Hydras or lurkers. You know, just hypothetically, maybe my game on this map could have ended because my opponent possibly got a huge lurker contain up and I couldn't break out. So I know that really sucks. Looks like an overpull here from Chess, a completely standard opening. Lana is going to get the first scout. So is Chess. Now, what is Lana going to go for? Looks like we have a Forge. It's become less popular lately. The Gateway Expand is becoming more and more used in this matchup, but Forge Expand is completely fine. Let's see, Lana trying to block the natural, doing a decent job. Throwing down the pylon, I have heard conflicting things about whether or not it is actually worth it to do this, but I feel like if it pisses off the Zerg, that's great. The Zerg is going to be really... You know, Zerg is going to be kind of salty about this, but the mineral cost, it does slow down your build, even if you do cancel it. In this case, Lana has decided not to cancel it, so it is definitely going to slow down the Nexus timing. And Chess has just simply taken the third base with the first Hydra here. So the game plan isn't too far behind. Things are going to clean up the pylon very quickly. So overall, I literally just can't tell you who's ahead from the next stage. I don't know. My brain is too small. But this Nexus is kind of late compared to a normal Forge Expand. One of the things about this map is that the rush distance from natural to natural is not that high. So you cannot be greedy and like try to get Nexus up before cannon. I mean, we have the gateway coming up. See a pylon and gas in the main soon. Cannon is up in time to deal with these lings very comfortably. This is a very good thing to do. Send in a second scouting probe because there's so much that Zerg can do if you're not looking. It's going to be really important to see this very fast layer timing. Looks like we're going to see Chess move into... my guess is something with Spire. Not necessarily muted, it's maybe like 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra or something like that. Getting this layer before speed, not getting Hydras. And it's going to be very, very, very handy for Lana to scout that. Would like to see a bit of a faster probe transfer, but trying to screw that up all the time. Probably focusing all of our APM on keeping this scouting probe alive. Speed is started. I haven't done Forge Expand in a while, but I'm pretty sure that you want to do the core before you start a Zealot. Like, this tech is starting to be kind of delayed for Protoss, and there's been a probe in the Zerg base the entire time. So, like, I feel like Lana shouldn't be scared of, like, a Ling Room or something like that. That might warrant hitting the Zealot before the Cyber Core. Getting a second gateway, so maybe we're not going to see a Stargate at all. The Spire is already started. Yeah, are we just not seeing a Cyber Core? Okay, so this could get really gross for the Protoss. Depending on how much Chess commits, we don't see 2 gas yet, so I don't think we're going to see, like, immediately a flock of Mutas pop out. But if the Scourge get in there, see that there's no Stargate, Chess absolutely could go for mutas. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so Lana is just going straight for Citadel. Opting to spend more money on the ground army, which can certainly work. Looks like our first 3 zealots are moving out across the map. This is a really solid move to do because Zerg has to make some links. Due respect, it looks like we're only seeing 1 pair of links and a sunken. Now these zealots could just go home, and they've done, they've effectively killed 2 drones without taking any damage themselves. But there's no way they can actually take this natural. Looks like zealots getting a bit split up. Yeah, with the sunk here, I don't think we're gonna see too much damage. But killing link is nice. Alright, let's see. Well, maybe Lana is going to prove me wrong. Maybe I'm just really bad. So we have 2 bruised zealots coming out. Okay, so Hydra just do break them down. I feel like that's a bit of a mistake. Oh, we have a late Stargate. Like, this Stargate, like, if there were mutas, it would be too late, right? Like, it would be killing the Stargate right now. Maybe it'll discourage the Zerg player from going into mutas, but it looks like the Zerg player did not really want to do that. It looks like Chess was comfortable with going for Hydras. Yeah, I think we're going up to 5 hatcheries, so it is that 3 hatch spire into 5 hatchery play. When I started playing the game, like about when Remastered came out, this was the build that every single Zerg did every game. It was absolutely just how people played this matchup. And then we saw like the quick 4-base like Larva Turtle style come up, and then it was 3 hatch Hydra, and now we're seeing like 4 hatch before layer or 5 hatch before layer. So the matchup is really like, oops, wrong button. Has definitely blossomed a bit, I guess, but this build is still very solid. That's not quite so standard though. We have Burrow coming out, really fast Burrow for Zerg. I'm curious to see what Chess is going to do with that. Do we have like some kind of sick plays planned? The most legit use of that I've seen is to save drones when bases are under attack, especially from Reavers. So that could be kind of sick. We do have a lot of Zealots, 9 Zealots coming out. Not a ton of Hydras here, especially if they leave the safety of the Sim City and the Sunken. These Hydras could get cleaned up. Alright, here we go. Zealots getting right on of everything, getting a bit confused here by the Sim City. Want to see some focus fire on these drones, I think. But the Sunk goes down, the last of the Hydras goes down, but the next Sunk pops up, and kind of similar to what we saw with the slow Zealots earlier, Lana just decides to give up on the natural, run straight into the main where there's no defense. And I think this time we're going to see a lot more damage here. Drones getting pulled, but not really bugging out the Zealots, and a bunch of drones go down. And Lana is up 20 workers right now. A bit of chaos here. Looks like these Hydras will probably clean this up, maybe after a few more drone kills. And overall, it's been very effective for Lana. We have a 3rd base getting ready to come up in a very quick timing. I think it's a decent play because I don't know if Zerg even knows about it. I don't think Chess really has the units to fight it. We have the next wave of Zealots ready already. So, and if you get a 3rd this early as Protoss, that's great. Like 12 minutes is like the time that, like the normal time to get it. Getting it before that is great. We're seeing Lana play it safe here and get cannons before the Nexus. I'm way too greedy, so I would definitely build the Nexus first. Oh yeah, I feel comfortable saying that 4 cannons is too much. Before the Nexus, I think like 2 is justifiable. 4 is a bit much, but It is still before that 12-minute mark. Looks like I think there was a link running in there while I was blathering on about minutes. We do have Zerg pressuring the front. There are those significant numbers of Zealots that I mentioned. We even have a Templar hanging out. These two guys have the mana to storm. I think the research must be done by now, but it's not even needed. These Zealots are just cleaning everything up. Hydras don't stand a chance right now. They are scooting their way back to the hive, where I don't think Protoss can actually push in there, especially if half the Zealots split off. And this Nexus is going to be done soon, and Protoss on even bases with the Zerg is going to feel great. We have this really late Corsair coming out. Just one, no upgrades, just enough to kill wandering overlords and maybe to use to scout. So still pretty valuable. Chess trying to jump drone back up here just a little bit before he's switching back into Hydras. I see 2 DTs coming out of Lana. I'm gonna try to find some unprotected zones on the map. There's a Spore at the right, and there's overlords all over the natural, but no detection in the main. So if we see a drop later, those DTs could do a lot of damage. I don't know what this probe is here for, probably just for scouting, I guess, or a misclick. It is going to get bopped by these Hydras. I don't think it actually saw this 4th base going down, but the Corsair does see it. Sick. Oh, but here we go. These Hydras are going to see this base. Now we have 5 cannons here. So it's definitely going to slow down the Hydras before more probes go down. Storming a bit of his own Zealots, getting some more storms on the Hydras. There we go. That's a good one. It's kind of storming both sides there, but the Protoss getting the better end of it. Oh my god, there's so many Templar and no Zealots. This happens to me all the time. Like, if I build like 3 or 4 Templar, they all get sniped. But then I end up building 8, and I have like this army comp, which is kind of scary to play with. But Protoss does keep this fast third alive and keeps the Zerg army size low. Oh, there we go. We have had more gateways added. I think we could have like 2 more maybe once this economy gets online. 2 more and a whole lot of tech. Here we go. Lana has seen the 4th base, sending his army over here. It's actually like half Templar, and each have 1 storm maybe. So this is actually not quite as powerful as it's going to look. If Ches has like godlike micro, he could dodge these storms. 2 storms going down on the eggs. That's so many Templar. But there's actually not a lot of Hydras here. It looks like Chess is committing to just keeping the rest of his bases alive. Looks like we had a pause. Someone got wife aggro. So these lurkers do have the potential to change up the game, but it seems like Chess is being really defensive now. It seems like he really does not want to fight this army after he's lost so many Hydras to Storm. And this is where Protoss is taking a 4th? That's wild. So far away from the rest of the Protoss bases. It's so hard to cover all this ground. But right now we have a fight here. Storms all over a ton of Zerg units, but the Templar are getting picked off by Lynx. But there's more Templar. That's the big brain strat. You can't snipe all your Templar, right? Oh my god, huge storms. All these Hydras going down. These lurkers are not going to cut it. This one burrowed Hydra. Good thing he spent that gas on that tech, right? I hit the wrong button. Worst caster ever. Fun fact, it took me like 10 years of playing this game casually as a kid to realize that you don't need to burrow research, or you don't need to research burrow for lurkers. They just get burrow. So, you know, that's a fun fact. We have more lurkers morphing here right in front of this giant Protoss army. I don't know if I like that. So this base, if it does get up, is going to be great. Like, this is a really fast fourth for Protoss, and on the minimap we see Zerg taking 2 more bases, trying to catch up. Wow, this is a lot of gateways. Lana is just gateway and Templar men. But if Zerg can kind of get re-established in this game and get a big army up, they're not immune to Storm, right? Like, what is the deal with the Burrow? It's just a lot of ground for us to cover. Like, they have to defend this front, and this front, and this front. And a Zerg that did well in the mid game is going to make that a nightmare in the late game. When the Zerg army can move around so quickly, and the Protoss army is a bit more of a blob, has to wait for slow units like Reavers and stuff. Reavers and or Templar. But, oh my god, more bases. So, Lana not giving his opponent a break, just putting on more and more indirect pressure here by getting these bases. And I don't think right now Chess has the ability to take them out. Chess is still on mostly Lairtech units. We see the Ling attack speed upgrade coming up, but no Defilers. Alright, there we go. The Defiler mound is just not coming up. But you really can't break a base without some kind of high tech at this point in the game. With all these cannons, with Vision out on the map, with this big roving death ball of units, it's gonna be a while before Chess can contest the map again. We're gonna have some Lings running here, get killed by this wall of static defense over here. And the 5th base is going to get online. I would like to see Lana, go into Reavers maybe to defend. At least see like more gateways. There we go. Okay, we do have more gateways. I guess one caveat about the Reavers is it's a very defensive move. Because obviously, like, you just leave Reavers at your bases, and they take money and they take supply. Maybe Lana just doesn't need that to defend right now. Just needs a lot more units to charge up this ramp. Storms 3 lurkers and in the Defiler, no Darksworm or Plague goes down, and this base might go down now. Of course, Protoss Goons trying to go up a ramp is never great. So this is always scary. I just think that there's so much Protoss here, basically double the supply of Zerg. Look at how hard it is to get the ramp. It's so dumb. But you don't need to get that far of the ramp if you can just storm the drones. Goons, please. Goons. This one goon is stuck here and is blocking every other unit from getting up the ramp. A ton of Overlords getting stormed. I think Lana is just going to win this with this, a big army lead. Chess having trouble getting his economy online, having trouble doing things with these Defilers. There we go. We have a Darksworm, but they leave it immediately. They're forced out by that DT. This base goes down. Lana loses a decent amount of units to do that, but can absolutely afford to make that kind of trade. I mean, look at all these gateways. Look at all these bases. Really brutal to get back in this game. Yeah, we have +3 attack on the Protoss. No armor upgrades, because who cares, right? We can just rebuild Zealots. But +3, like, Archons, one-shot Zealots. There's only +1 armor on the items, on the other units. So Protoss units are going to be so efficient right now. This one Defiler, hoping that no one sees him in the corner. Seems like he'll get away with it too. But I think both of these bases are not super strongly defended. Don't have like a big lurker wall. I think, and like if we had like a bunch of lurkers and Defilers, it would make it a lot harder to break these bases. And as I say that, I see that there are some lurkers spawning there, which is good for Zerg. But even with that, this Protoss army is really scary. It's maxed out. We've seen a lot of good storms. And Protoss can certainly afford to throw away units right now. So I think we're going to see Lana continue to take out bases here. And I don't know what Chess can do when they're behind so much in supply. Like, Lana's kind of been beating them all game, just smashing their face in with Zealots running in and Storms killing drones and big fights in the middle of the map. It's kind of gone very well for Protoss at each stage of the game. Here we go. Looks like this fake high ground base is the next to be attacked here. Well, the Akaran gets picked off by Seneki. Or maybe Lana is just trying to secure yet another base. He knows that Chess just doesn't have the ability to be aggressive right now. And like, oh man, a big storm all over the eggs, all over the lurkers, even getting the mineral line with that one. One of the observers died, but who cares? There's 7 observers. Lana, who hurt you? Like, did someone kill? Like, did you go 6 observers and then they all died anyway? Like, this is nuts. Oh man, we suddenly see a bunch of mutas. I feel like this is Chess's like Hail Mary to get back in this game. There's nothing to stop them from shutting down this base. What are we going to see Lana do in response? Looks like he knows that his opponent has sunk like over 1,000 minerals and gas here into these units. It's gonna make his ground army that much weaker. This Templar makes it all the way to the mineral line. Oh my god, Storm, please, please. Oh man, they were so stacked. But it doesn't really matter. Chess is going to tap out. Mutas, these upgraded mutas are not going to be able to take the game. But I can't blame the guy for trying. And with that, let's get into game number 2. Were there really 90 probes? I just completely missed that. I mean, when you have that many bases, right? Like, what's the point of having like 8 bases if you don't even have like 10 probes in each one? Alright, before we get into game 2, I'm going to take a quick break to get some water. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Thanks for waiting, everybody. I'm now hydrated, re-energized, ready to get into Game 2 of Series number 3 here. Alright, in the bottom right, winning last game with some great early play into quick bases into a big ground army. It's the brown Protoss. Lana is hot. And in the top left, in the grayish green Zerg, it's Chess. So Shakaris Temple in this matchup. The walls are a bit weird for Protoss. Not too hard, just a bit unusual. Kind of a similar situation where there's a huge area outside of the natural choke for Zerg to line up a bunch of Hydras. Those ramps to leave that area in front of your natural, very strong for lurkers. But let me tell you, there's a really dumb thing with the pathing in this spawn in particular. When you put like your forage here and your gateway here, even though there's still a gap here where your units can run out, they'll just get stuck going back and forth right here, and you just have to end up killing one of your own gateways before you go mad. So we'll see if that matters this game. Looks like another overpull from Chess. Again, that's like the #1 most standard opening in this matchup. Starting to get mixed up a bit as we see different builds from Protoss become more popular, different responses from Zerg become more popular. Like 12 hatch or 11 hatch is better against gate, against gate first than overpull is. But overpull is still like the very standard, like kind of a pretty good against everything kind of build. This probe is here already, and we get the pylon block again, so Lana has decided this is definitely worth it for him. Lana gets the forge first again. You do kind of see, especially like at our CPL level, like players pick one of gateway or forge to do, kind of just whatever style they prefer. In the when you get to like the pro level, like players practice like 8 different builds a day or whatever, so they can switch it up more easily. But us mortals, we kind of pick one style and go with it. Ooh, getting 2 cannons before Nexus, I think this is just a miss. Well, I mean, okay, so we saw 6 lings. That is kind of scary for 1 cannon. I feel like given that it's cross and given that the lings are going to kill the pylon and they're going to chase the probe, I think you could have gotten away with cannon, Nexus cannon. Oh yeah, we even see a cancel on that cannon. There you go. Just a bit of a delay on the Nexus. Okay, so there was a drone that died here, right? So did Chess not notice? Did Chess think Protoss was over here? It's kind of funny. Well, now we're gonna have 6 lings. Maybe these lings were sent over to like try to catch a scouting probe or something. But now I think we would have maybe wanted to see this cannon finish. Can't really make up my mind on that. Depends on how aggressive Chess is with these lings. But 6 lings can take down a cannon, or maybe even worse, run by into the main. We're seeing that Zealot before core again, which I think is a bit more warranted in this situation, given all these lings. I know we saw a second scouting probe. Nope, it's right here. Nice. So again, Lana is going to get a complete read-off on the Zerg build. Layer this fast, it can't be 3-hatch Hydra. I mean, there's still plenty of follow-ups to this layer. But I would be pretty sure we're going to see 3-hatch Spire again. the only other builds that are really popular right now. I guess you can see like some kind of lurker drop, but we don't have any overlords position for that. You can see like 3 Hatch Hydra, which you don't see. You can see 4 Hatch Hydra, or even 5 Hatch Hydra, but those don't get the lair that quickly. So this pretty much eliminates down to 1 build out of the current meta, I would say. Why did I say meta? It's meta. What is Protoss doing? So again, skipping the Stargate. I guess I would feel pretty confident if I skipped the Stargate against Spire and still did fine, like we did last game. So we're going to see the same game plan that worked out really well for Lana again here. Is Chess going to adapt? Or are we going to see a lot of drones go down? Another probe. Oh no, this is the same probe who managed to make it out and is now coming back. Is going to see the Spire and know exactly what the Zerg is up to. If he clicked on these buildings when the probe came by, yeah, okay, now he's going to know for sure. So seeing only 1 gas, seeing another hatch and Hydroden, he's going to know that it's not really gearing up to be a ton of mutas. So it really is basically the same thing that we saw last time. Oh, it looks like Lana's forgotten the +1, which is definitely a feels bad moment. You want that to be started like before the Citadel goes down. That way, the 2 upgrades finish right at the same time. Yeah, we're seeing that now. So there's going to be a long period of time where the Zealots have speed and don't have +1, which really makes them a lot less effective in these early pushes. But again, we do see the first 3 Zealots moving out on the map. Managed to get some damage done last time, and this time there's nothing. There's nothing here. We have Hydras that just started morphing. This drone line is undefended. Every drone has to run out of here. See how the players can micro here. Already 1 drone goes down. Those drones are gone, dude. Those drones are out. They're not going to try to stop these Zealots. They're just going to the 3rd base. See ya. Only a handful of units have pop here, and these Zealots can kill more drones, shut down more mining time. 2 more drones goes down. There's like 3 drones this whole attack. 4. And a Ling. These Hydras might actually go down here, but I think we're eventually going to see reinforcements. The drone macro from Chess kind of lacking. Maybe I'm just bad, but when I attack Zerg players like this, the drones just go back and forth and screw up my Zealots. It's really annoying. We don't really see that happening here. So we had like, I think 4 or so drones and a couple of units go down for Zerg. The natural was completely evacuated. That was a great attack for Lana. It was huge value. And now we have the next wave with 9 Zealots with speed done. I guess 7, because these two Zealots are going to hang out. No +1, unfortunately, but still just a ton of Zealots. Looks like Chess is going to rely on Hydras again, so that +1 matters less versus Hydras. Like, it cuts off less of their effective health, basically, like their number of hits to kill Hydra, but it's still an improvement. This time, this Sim City is really tight here. Even without the Sunk, those Hydras can take good advantage of that choke. These drones going back and forth. Uh-oh. These drones could be dead. Looks like the Zealots are going to decide to run up to the 3rd. There's a Spore, but no Sunken, and no Hydras here. I don't know what this probe is doing here. He just wants to hang out. And this base is in trouble. Now, it's worth noting that there's only 1 choke in or out of this base, so these Zealots are really committing to this fight, but I think it's totally worth it if they kill all these drones. Some of them do make it out. But again, the mining from an entire base has been shut down. Focusing the Spore, not really that important. These Zealots, I think, are going to be forfeit, but that was quite a few drone kills, quite a lot of forced Hydras. And again, we have this really early 3rd. from Lana, and I think it's completely fine. We have a decent amount of units out again. Storm is on the way, and these Templar have the mana for it. I think that probably means that the Storm upgrade was a bit delayed, but given the effectiveness of those attacks, I think it's okay. Well, we don't see any cannons here this time. I know I talked about this last time. We saw like 4 cannons before the Nexus. I'm pretty sure that you want to go Nexus and then cannons, because leaving the space completely alone is going to be kind of rough. Alright, the pathing is messing up these units, getting them all split up for some reason. Now, this kind of army, I don't think you can be very aggressive with this as Protoss. You have to get like really clutch storms, but there's nothing to stop the Hydras from running up and sniping the Templar, and there's just not a lot on the ground to back them up. I mean, we have a bunch of Hydras here coming. We even have Lurkers spawning soon. And that is going to destroy this army. It's going to be really scary for Protoss to act as if they can be aggressive right now, and they don't even need to. Like, we have 61 probes and a third base just finishing. Like, there's no need for Protoss to attack right now. I think just sit up at home, get a robo up, get a bunch of goons, get some cannons to this base, get some probes transferred to this base, and you'll be fine. Do we see a robo somewhere? No, I don't think we see a robo anywhere, and that is a huge problem for Protoss. Like, if Zerg has any amount of lurkers, you just have to back up and go home and get observers. Ideally, you want to preempt that. But this is one of the things that Lana gives up by getting this fast third and all these gateways. And there's only so much money to go around and so much APM to control it all. So these Zerg bases are going to be safe if we can get a decent amount of lurkers at each one, unless Lana goes for some really clutch storms, which is always possible. So we have a big army here outside the natural Zerg. Oh god, the units are getting split up. Pathing on this map is kind of rough. Alright, are we going to see big storms? There's a decent one. That one mostly whiffed, but he did end up getting a lurker. So maybe Lana's going to prove me wrong. But all my negativity, and we do see a fourth base going over 12 minutes. It's basically the standard time to get a third base. Lana is crazy. Storming on these eggs, trying to shut down these lurkers before they can form, but then chasing the Hydras down. There we go. Focusing down the eggs, getting good value. All these Hydras clumped up here, big storms. And we even need observers, right? Like, who cares if your army looks frail to cold war gates? You just run in here and kill everything, dude. And this fourth base is definitely in danger. The storms kind of wiped out the Zerg standing army. And Protoss just leaves? Question mark. Not sure what happened there. There we go. Alright. Coming back to kill the base. And Zerg will kind of just have to accept that. Would like to see, you know, this lurker maybe back here and some buddies over there, because one lurker in the front like this is just going to get popped by goons if Lana decides to threaten that third base. But why would they even have to? He's got a fourth base up with a bunch of cannons, even a gateway here, and they're all gas bases. So this Protoss is going to be living the high life, get as many Templar as he wants, back up to this really high probe count, and there's more coming. Last game apparently there were 90 probes. And I think we're gonna see that again. And this lurker is too far forward, can't really stop the Protoss army, but Lana decides that he doesn't really have to go that way anyway if he wants to. A fifth base at 14 minutes. This is not PvT. This is PvZ. But Lana's gonna get away with it. Look at the supply count. I kind of lost track of that. Lana is up 100 supply. Big disparity in the macro of these players. Just having a really hard time like getting established. They're kind of in this like Death Spiral. I guess this is not Nexus, right? Okay, is this a pylon? I was gonna say if that's a Nexus, Lana is being bad right now. In this like Death Spiral where they didn't have enough units to stop the first zealot push, so they lost some workers. So they made some units, so they had less workers. They didn't have units to save the fourth, so they lost roads. So they can't make more units, and now they don't have enough stuff to like threaten the Protoss. Or I mean, really, I think if Lana wanted to, they could absolutely kill the Zerg right now. It's just there's no reason to take that risk if you're so far ahead, right? God, we're gonna see another base. This is just brutal. Oh, got a big storm of these Hydras as they tried to poke up the ramp. So much value. Okay, we finally have an observatory at 15 minutes. You know, the standard 5 base Protoss into observatory build. Ooh, my chair got stuck on my carpet. Alright, there we go. I'm good. I'm good. I almost died. What do I talk about now? Looks like we have Hive Tech. Almost done for Zerg. Hard to support that effectively without a ton of gas. Looks like maybe we'll get these four gas bases up. Glad to see some godlike Defiler play to pull this back. I mean, Defiler is not one of the units that can do that, but it's still gonna be really hard. I like this one probe. It's just this can't be the scouting probe from earlier, can it? Oh no, this is the one that built these pylons. Okay, what is going on here? What is this? Are we gonna crawl kittens out? Is this just so that Zerg can't take this base later? This is really funny. I really like this. In the meantime, we're back to 93 probes as Protoss. It's like 2.5 times the worker count of Zerg. And we're kind of seeing one of the reasons that this map can be tricky, although what is going on? I mean, we have so much money, so I mean, like, who cares? I guess, but like, I feel like this is what you do when there's like one mining base left on the map, but like, it's this whole part of the map that Zerg could take. I guess we have probes here to scout. When you have 93 probes, you can afford to just leave one at each base. So Chess has built up a sizable amount of workers, but Protoss has so much meat here. I think they really could force the issue if they wanted. Kind of getting indecisive here, going down this ramp. Oh, these lurkers trying to be really smart here. Cover the retreat path, but Lana has no intention of retreating from the little cannon nest. Have another base up here. Tons of units, tons of gateways, upgrades, research for Lana. 3 GTs coming out, why not? Link's coming up here to protect this base from that probe. Oh, but those DTs have made it over here. Be a really effective way to control the map. We don't have any overlords in the neighborhood. I'm not sure if we have speed done on them yet. Oh no! You said a bad word. But no, I mean, oh man, that's that feels bad. Oh my god. Oof. All right. So Lana being very strong, huge economy, BM cannons, but still, yeah, both players pretty manner in the end. I feel like Chess just needs to like get some practice in stopping those early zealot pushes, and then be in a much harder position, because it really is like a snowball where Zerg needs to get to a certain drone count to support a certain army size to stop Protoss, and these zealot pushes kind of mess that up. All right, let's get into the next series and the last one for the night. Oh no, there's no way we're getting out of this. Hatchery Cake, the winner of Hazy vs. Strom was Strom. She won at 2-0 with some very well-practiced builds. Alright, let's get into the first game of our final series here. Yeah, it was the second series Strom. Very strong showing in that game. Alright, this series, it's another ZVP. In the top right, we have Ash, Smiley Face, Jojo. And in the bottom right, the Green Protoss Snipe. I don't know who this guy is. I think he's like a new CPL player. Completely new to the game, I think. We'll see how he does, you know, in his debut game here. So we saw PvZ on this map just now. We saw what happens when a zealot push gets a lot of damage done. That doesn't happen every ZVP. The game can look a lot different if the zealot push just does a small amount of damage or even gets completely rebuffed. Let's see what we got here. The pylon being placed. Given that this probe is scouting rather than staying in the natural, it's probably going to be forge first, but whenever I make that claim, the player goes on to prove me wrong. So we'll see what happens. Ooh, we got, extractor trick. Okay, what are we going to see? So we saw Overlord into extractor trick. I don't know, is that good? I feel like I haven't seen it very often, so probably someone has mathed it out not to be good. Here we go. Yeah, it's just an overpull with extractor trick. It doesn't seem like it'll change too much. Probably a difference of like 5 minerals or something. We do see a forge first. Is this slightly off? No. Okay, I think that's right. This is the only wall that's like really gross on this map, but it's not even that bad. I mean, you have this here, and you have with this one gap that needs 3 zealots, which is not ideal, but it's not too bad, honestly. Oh, here we go. Probe gets here in time to block the natural. Jojo doesn't even want to mess around with that. This drone is just out of there. Oh, and actually he psychs him out. And psychs me out. Caster Curse is too real. Actually, a very nice play on Jojo's part. You can see like he made that choice immediately. Like there was no like, I'll try to kill the probe. It's just like, nope, I'm out of here, and then actually I'm back. So very nice snap decision making here from Jojo, and like Snipe might not even be aware of this. We're gonna see 6 links come out. The Nexus was started before the cannon. I think this is fine. Sylphic can be a bit scary. Okay, we do have these links headed down immediately. Snipe wisely getting 2 cannons. I think we're gonna see a gateway here. Might even want to see some more probes pulled just to be safe. Or wait. Oh no, does this Overlord not? Oh man, this Overlord just now figures out where it was. So Jojo got really unlucky. He got the Overlord in here, didn't see the buildings, and thought it was the bottom left spawn. And that amount of time is not trivial. I think because we saw the second cannon, I think Snipe would have been okay. But it still would have been a bit scary. Maybe the links could have run by before the second cannon finished and just gotten into the main. But we'll never know now because of that mistake. And I hate to empathize with a Zerg player, but like I hate that situation. I've done that. Like scouting probe like accidentally pulled away slightly too early before scouting the enemy town hall or something, and it can really mess you up. Alright, so it looks like everything is pretty normal from Zerg after all that being done. We have a cyber core. We'll have to see if Snipe opts to skip the Stargate like we saw in the previous series. That is like, I don't know, like that happens like 30% of the time, like 40% of the time. So like it's normal, but it's not the most standard thing. You're taking a pretty big risk, because if Zerg was going for big mutas, like you basically just die if you skip Stargate. Like there's some counterplay, like you try to distract with Salads, and you can try to get like an Archon and get Maelstrom or something, but it's really hard. But here we go. Snipe is getting the Stargate. The much more standard way of handling this. I think we're going to see more 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra play from Joja here. There we go. So in response to this, I think we should see Snipe go up to 5 Corsairs, just in case Zerg opts to go for mutas later. And then if you're really active with those Corsairs, you can do a lot with them. You know, you get scouting, you can kill a ton of Overlords, both like by themselves and in a fight. You can like save observers from Scourge. You can save Templar from mutas. So I'm interested to see what we see from these Corsairs this game. This probe scout coming back in, seeing the third, going to see the Hydrogen, so should basically know the entire Zerg build. I can't believe this probe is still around. I never had probes live this long. You can see the exact timing on the Spire. Corsair killing the Overlord. Normally, you want to scout with the first Corsair, just fly past any Overlords, but when you're a god and you have a probe alive at 6.5 minutes in the Zerg base, finally a Sunken has to kill the probe. You can totally afford to kill an Overlord or two in the middle of the map. So very nice. You probably want to go back now to avoid dying to Scourge. There you go, there you go. We do have Corsair number 2 coming out. Looks like we're getting into those extra gateways now with the Templar tech. Oh, we have second gateway in the natural, nice. So we could see a decent Zealot push come out. One thing to consider is getting a cannon in the main, just because having Scourge camp your Stargate really sucks. Don't know if we'll see that this game. We don't see any like a huge commitment to air. It's like we have a decent amount of Hydras crossing the map. Zealot push could clean them up, especially if we see this +1 finish before they move out. Looks like this 7:30 push is going to be like a 7:45 push, but that should still be fine, honestly. Should definitely be at least enough to fight this group of units out here. Alright, here we go. The push is coming out. Speed is done, but +1 is not quite finished. The Zealots aren't fighting it technically optimal efficiency just yet, but the Hydras are getting out of there anyway. Scourge chasing this Corsair. Okay, here we go. With 2 sunks and decent Sim City, I think this base is fine. Snipe says, nope, not dealing with that. Ooh, might get a chance to shut down this 4th base before it can even begin. Nice pick off here for Snipe. Just gonna waste a lot of the Zerg's time here. This natural is not that well defended. I mean, there's 1 sunk here behind these buildings I can't even select because the Overlord's over it. But this mineral line is kind of undefended. Looks like we're going to see a ton of units pop out here. So I think this push is probably going to go home, but that's just fine because you get to keep the Zealots for later. Zerg had to make a bunch of units, and their 4th base was delayed. And we already have Templar. I think Storm must be done by now, right? I'm going to assume it is. So I think the Snipe is doing very well in this game right now. Just needs to get a third up, you know, in the next like 2 or 3 minutes. Fine. Getting a decent storm on these Hydras as they try to poke in. Zealot's struggling a bit in the choke. This is the curse of Protoss. Trying to snipe this Templar. Oh, but he gets a long distance storm off. Gets some more Hydras. This is going pretty well for Snipe. All these Hydras that die are going to make this push later from Snipe that much better. One Zealot makes it out on the map, barely alive, trying to scout. Is it going to find that rebuild 4th base? I think so. Snipe knows what he's worried about in the game. You don't want to fight 4 bases versus 2, so like 2 versus 3 or 3 versus 4 is fine for us, but 2 versus 4 is a bit gross. Definitely want to be aware of that. That's going to give him all the intel he needs, and I don't think there's enough here from JoJo to contain his opponent. Lurker aspect is just starting, so we're not going to see a contain before the Protoss can break it, I think. Yeah, we have 7 goons by the pop. That's going to make this army so much deadlier. Especially when we have all these Templar here, like 1 to 2 storms on each one. If we see some good micro Snipe, he's going to wipe the floor with this army. Okay. Is there like a Templar range upgrade? Like, these are some long distance storms, man. The observatory is going to be done in time for these late-ish workers, or lurkers, excuse me. So I think what we'll see is a big push once the observers is out. Oh, that Templar gives his life, but it takes out a few Hydras. Let's sneeze. Alright, good thing I have a mute button on my mic. Anyway. Yeah, this contain is just not even a contain, it's just units hanging out here. As soon as Snipe decides to move out, it's just smash his way through. Really want to kill the egg. The egg is really annoying when you try to move these big armies around your base. How many gateways are in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, 8 gates. I should have checked that out earlier. Getting 8 gates on 2 bases is more of a delay the third and get big damage. Yeah, and we're even going to have 2-1 done. This is going to be a very, very powerful push here, and these handful of lurkers is not going to cut it. These Hydras out here are doomed. What does Zerg have back home to defend it? You know, just 2 sunks here, just 1 sunk here. Not even a sunk up this ramp. Not a lot of, like, it's like we have a lot of small groups of units, and that's not what it's going to take to beat this. I think Zerg just has to be defensive in this situation. Just park lurkers at the chokes, try to stay on top of where the Toss army is. But I don't think you can ever fight this in the middle ground, given the build that the Zerg and the Protoss have done. Like maybe if we had like some like 4-hatch Hydra, like mass Hydra build, you'd have a chance if you had like godlike storm dodging, and they were seeing a ton of sunks here at this third base. Just 1 or 2 over here, but the natural is completely open. We have some sunks about to pop, but these this army is gonna be right on top of them. We have 3 lurkers here in the back of the mineral line. Gonna mop up these zealots, but if goons are storming on top of them, yeah, we storm all over these lurkers. In the meantime, we have some more units for Zerg running in the back, but Snipe is ready with storms, completely wipes them out. Absolutely brutal. Probably wants to bring some zealots down to fight this flank. No, never mind, they're all dead. Protoss, good unit. There you go. Snipe takes game 1 with a very solid 2-1 push. Really, really handled the Zealot push well. Like, it didn't do too much damage to the Zerg. It did shut down the quick fourth, but Snipe was very wise to just pull back the Zealots and keep them around later. And I think that really paid off for that 2-1 push. And now let's get into game 2 of this series. Alright, back onto Kuris Plateau. In the bottom right, in the edgy black Zerg, it's Ash Jojo. And in the top right, the green Protoss Snipe, winning last game with a very solid mid-game push. So this time, the Protoss player does not have the cursed spawn with the terrible padding. So that should be okay for him. Looks like Zerg will scout in the right direction, even though I think normally Zerg would scout clockwise on this map, I think. But that's fine. I think we're going to see standards play out of both players again, based on what we saw last game. Looks like it'll be another Forge build from Snipe, most likely. Curious to see if we'll see that extractor trick again. Looks like not. I wonder what that was about. I'm really curious. Nothing too wild happening. Oh, it looks like we'll actually see a hatchery first. Now that I look at it and notice that there's no spawning pool. This is a build that's become more popular lately. It's generally better against the gateway first than overpool is. I think it's completely fine against Forge first. There is a tiny chance of getting cannon rushed, but honestly I think cannon rush is really bad in this game. And I'm not even sure if there's room, like, can you block off on the minerals like you do there, and is there only 2 gaps back there? I don't know. But I don't think we're gonna see that this game. Looks like we're gonna see a Nexus before cannon. Snipe, reading this correctly, knows that he doesn't need to defend. Looks like he went up to 14 probes. I think it's normally 13 to get the Nexus. I don't know if this is like a reaction to something I don't know about. I think it's actually better to get it on 14. Getting the gateway before the cannon, a nice little optimization there. This is one thing about Forge Expand that I appreciate. Like, there's so many different ways to take it. Like, when do I get the cannons? When do I get the Nexus? When do I get the gateway? And a solid Protoss player who knows how to read the Zerg can navigate all those choices correctly and get a nice advantage from an optimized build. I think now that I look at this wall, I'm pretty sure you can put the Forge here and the gateway here to actually have a tight wall. Like right now you have like this 2 gap here and this 1 gap here, which isn't too bad. I guess also like that would put the Forge more exposed, which would be bad versus like a Hydra bust. I don't know if it'll really make a huge difference in this game. Got the Cyber Core on the way again. I imagine we're going to see Stargate. Oh, we don't even have a gas yet for Zerg, so this could be a very different build. You could see 4, maybe even 5 hatch Hydra here. Alphabet Shan, all these games are from week 6. They're from different matches, like different teams playing each other, but they're all from week 6, and they're from different tiers. Looks like we had one Ling make it past the cannon into the main. Not really a big deal in terms of damage. I mean, like a couple of probes can fight one Ling. As I say that. Oh, nope, there you go. Alright. Barely saves that probe in time. Very nice. But it is super tilting. Speaking of super tilting, there's a hatchery in the wrong base right now. I don't know if Snipe is ever going to see this before the creep comes out. When did the drone get in here? How long has this been here? I have complete vision of the game. I didn't even notice a drone in there. I'm so bad. And this could be really, really brutal. I have lost a lot of games to IRK Aegis Proxy Hatchery builds. It's interesting that we still see a hatchery at home and we're just finally seeing gas. I feel like you would... An Evo chamber. So this is gonna be like some like super Ling heavy build. I think even if this doesn't get off, I think we're gonna see like Carapace first mass Ling, which is a cool build that I will talk about if we get to it. But we're also gonna see some shenanigans happen with this hatchery. And drones. So we're gonna start getting Sunkens. It is going to be a long distance to crawl up here. If Snipe catches it, like, I guess like when there's a sunk like here, he could have time to build cannons here. If he catches it, if he sees the creep. Oh, this Corsair, if the Corsair wasn't rallied to kill this Overlord, it would have flown downward and seen the creep. That's really funny. In the meantime, we have these 4 Zealots making it to the third base. There are a ton of Lings getting ready for the all-in. I would imagine they are able to clean this up. Snipe could maybe sense like, hey, why is there only one drone at this third base? That's weird. And he even saw like the probe go in here and be like, hey, why do you not have gas? Why do you have an Evo chamber? This is a bit weird. I think, did Snipe? Okay, Snipe could have seen the creep. He now definitely sees this creep colony building. But is he actually aware of it? Okay, we have a cannon, but Sunkens are dumb and they build way faster than cannons. Oop, wrong way. And this is going to get really scary. Like, this is not going to work. 4 probes. It's not going to be a sunk. I think you just have to make, like, a wall of cannons out of range of the furthest sunk. Like, go here, like, it sunks, but, like, sack these buildings. Fortunately, oh, never mind. I was about to say the wall is being held, but it's not. Not enough Zealots here, and just one cannon at the front. This is triggering my Protoss hatred, or my hatred of Zerg. And God, this sucks. There you go. Snipe bows out. Jojo steals a game with his illegitimate strategy. Wink, wink. That said, let's get into game 3. Alright, in the top right, getting proxy hatched in the last game, you know, making me sympathize with him that much more, as if I wasn't blatantly favored towards the Protoss. It's Snipe in the green Protoss. And in the bottom right, actually, you know, doing a very, very well executed sneaky proxy hatchery, it's Jojo. Now, I don't know if he was, like, planning on doing the proxy hatchery. Like, I don't know if he came into that game thinking, I will proxy hatch this guy. But, like, he's like, hey, I got this drone in there. He hasn't seen it. I might as well go for it. Game 1 build was over gas? Was it really? Oh, in your series. Strum, in chat. Okay. I thought they're talking about Game 1 in this series. Okay, yeah, I guess I remember you talking about you practice builds with Striker, I think, when they were talking about how like you just went like mind gaming builds like that, because you knew what Hazel League was going to go, I think. Yeah. Anyway, in this series, looks like we're going to see Forge again. Looks like we're going to see Hatchery first again, maybe? Oh, and is he doing the trick with the drone again? I don't know. Nope. This time he's committing to going all the way up here. But it's still Hatchery first. And this is going to be interesting because this space is on the attack path, so controlling this high ground is really valuable. I want to talk about the build that I think we were going to see JoJo do. Okay, so we see Nexus before Forge. Very nice reaction to this Hatchery first. Snipe really on top of his scouting and his reactions. Anyway, this like Ling only gasless build that we saw. I fought it a bunch on ladder last year and I raged because I couldn't figure out how to beat it. I think it's like actually not optimal for a couple of reasons, but it is very cool. They just get a ton of Lings. They get Carapace first to counter the +1 from Zealots, and if Protoss doesn't know how to handle it, they just get overwhelmed by like a million billion Lings. What Protoss can do is don't rely on Storm, just get like 2 Archons and push out and try to kill them before the Zerg can get to Hype Tech. And what I think is really cool is if the Protoss sees a fast Evo, the Protoss gets armor rather than weapons, because if both Protoss and Zerg get armor, the Zerg's armor upgrade will be pointless, and the Zealot's armor upgrade will still have some use versus Lings. But anyway, I like this. Snipe got he went Nexus first into Gateway. I'm not even sure if I've seen that, and it's absolutely going to work this game. Snipe is getting so much value with scouting all series, other than scouting his own main, of course. And I think we are going to see something like that. We don't have any gas yet, so I think we have a ton of minerals saved up, so we're at least going to see 4 hatcheries before gas. There is also like 4 hatch Hydra and 5 hatch Hydra that get those hatcheries before gas and then lead into like a really strong mid game. So we'll see what the follow up is here. This time 2 Lings make it past the cannonless wall. The Zealot isn't even bothering to go up and save. Oh, never mind. Okay, we do have 1 Zealot up here. Got 3 kills. Oh my god, a bunch of probes go down. So annoying. You know, Strom knows that I do really poorly with Lings in my main. Oh, and we have a ton of Lings here coming out. So it looks like maybe Snipe was possibly too greedy by delaying the cannons too much. He definitely needs to pull this probe back and put the Zealot in the wall. And I think like these units have to be like here to block this off. This wall is a bit weird. It's like slightly too wide to be completely comfortable for Protoss. Looks like those Lings have gone down. I should pay attention to see if they got more probes. Okay, we go trying to bust the wall, killing that 1 Zealot that was out, but the probes are pulled very quickly. Snipe is like, oh fuck, I gotta get at least 1 more cannon to not die here. And okay, so we do have a Hydrogen coming down somewhere. So what is this, 4 hatchery? Yeah, we have, looks like a 4 hatch Hydra build, which is not really like an all-in, like a 3 hatch Hydra. It will hit its peak later. It's more like a really strong mid-game build. Kind of define. I feel like it's really good against like the 2-1 pushes. If you're really good at like storm dodging, you just surround the whole Protoss army. All right. Thanks, Drum Carlin, for watching. All right, what's going on in this game? Yeah, it looks like we're seeing these Hydra upgrades come out. We're still seeing drones, so it's definitely not going to be like an all-in bust. But Snipe has to read this. I think he's had a probe in this base fairly recently, probably long enough to figure out what's going on. Still feels a bit spooky to not scout with his Corsair. Getting that second gas, probably. I'm pretty sure what you want to do is like get your Templars faster, because your Zealot push probably isn't going to be super effective if they have a ton of Hydras. Probably want to get like 4 cannons, I think, and just more get a ball of units up. Go for a less committed mid-game push and get that third base up pretty quickly as Protoss. I think that's what you want to do. I don't really know, because I routinely get absolutely wrecked by 4-hatch Hydra if I don't beat it with my, like, if I don't just like kill too many drones with my gateway expand. Yeah, Shafir, there was some Zerg in the cast earlier whose tag was Molasses Zerg, even though they had like 250 APM. I think that's sandbagging. Molasses Zerg. Yeah. I definitely think that they're sandbagging and they should be promoted to tier 0. In the meantime, we have a lot of links here and some Hydras. Definitely going to make it very rough for Protoss to leave their base. And what is Snipe going to do to get out of there? I mean, we don't have goons coming. We only have 2 gateway. I'm actually kind of scared. I keep talking about how not all in this 4-hatch Hydra is, but like, there's a lot of stuff. And only 2 cannons. Storm is just now starting. I'm actually getting scared for Snipe here. Moving out with these Zealots that don't quite have speed yet, but then getting the speed in time to run away. Okay, there's actually a decent amount of Zealots. Apparently I'm completely underestimating how good they would be at pushing back this army. Zerg getting both of the attack upgrades. Rather than getting armor and like range attack as we see normally. Okay, now these Zealots are going to get cleaned up if they stick around. There's a ton of Zerg units here. Alright, it's definitely not a fight that Protoss should be taking. Like, if they lose all these Zealots, they're going to lose a lot of potential for the next, like, 4 minutes of the game. I like this, like, one observer, like, oh yeah, it's my job to fight the Overlords while the Zealots kill the Hydras, but, you know, a little bit late, a little bit. Just one, of course, there. It's not going to cut it. And now this is really, really rough for Snipe. Like, losing those Zealots, it's just going to compound, because now he has to rebuild the Zealots before he can even think about leaving his base. He has to make cannons to not die immediately. This is going to give Zerg time to build whatever they want. And like, Zerg is going to get Lurker aspect soon. The Robo is like halfway done. We don't, Goon range has just started. We don't have any goons actually coming out. We do have the cheeky DT coming out. But I think Overlord speed is done. Oh, we even have Overlord carrying a transport coming. So Zerg is really going to get to do whatever they want. We're going to see this base go down in the bottom left, and Protoss is definitely in danger of being contained. This DT managing to run past the one Overlord in the middle of the map, like, could have absolutely just gone down and not run past any Overlords, go straight to the third base. Does manage to survive. Oh my god, there's 3 hatcheries going down. Jojo knows how this game works. Like, he knows that he stopped that early push. He can see that there's like no goons, probably sees no observer, and knows that it's going to take a long time for Protoss to be on the map. But he also pulls like every single unit to stop one DT, I think. So I don't know about that. This actually could maybe give Protoss time to move out. Never mind, there's 2 lurkers here. I know we saw the robo done. Here it is. I don't think we have an observatory, and this is like the oh, okay, there it is. But the observer is just now starting. I think these lurkers sitting here is going to give JoJo time to come back and rebuild his contain if he wants to. I like that he has like units at every base, almost, absolutely covering all of his bases. I feel like other than bringing back every unit to stop 1DT, this is a really good game to show what you do when you're ahead. You don't just sit on it. Like, you can take bases, try to figure out what the opponent is doing, try to limit what they can do to get back in the game. But giving up that contain is really going to give Protoss a chance to get back. Like, if we had, like, a wall of lurkers here, it was so much harder for Protoss to get out, even with goons, even with Storm, even with observers. Now, I saw some mutas. I assume these are mostly for sniping Templar. We haven't seen him actually try to do that yet. There are a good amount of Templar, there are a decent amount of goons, but here we have a drop with a lurker and 2 hydras in it. So it looks like maybe when the Protoss moves out, mutas are going to come in, try to snipe some Templar, and the drop is going to go for the mineral line. There is a cannon here that might be able to shoot lurkers down here. I'm not sure. We do have a couple of observers. And here we go. The Protoss snipe has to get this 3rd base down. 13 minutes is starting to run out of time. Starting to run out of resources. Here we go. The question is, do these cannons actually cover the mineral line? We have some units being dropped out. Snipe reacts very quickly, but I think the probes aren't mineral locked, or they're just dumb, and they can't path out of here. Oh, but the lurker gets picked off. I think he must have, like, focused fired the cannons. Either way, I guess it's either a skilled or lucky defense there from Snipe. But that could have been absolutely brutal. I feel like the lurker was here and got some spine shots off. It would have been, like, truly lethal damage. But he does manage to break out, and he does get this 3rd base going. He will have to get a 4th base relatively quickly after that. But before he can do that, he's going to have to win these fights in the middle. Big storms over these hydras and lurkers. The Ling's running into that storm too. It's starting to look really scary for JoJo. I thought he was in a great position. Then he made just a couple of mistakes, and suddenly we have this big Protoss death ball marching across the map, killing these Zerg units as they come in piecemeal. And, I mean, the nice thing is when your opponent controls the entire map, you can just attack in any direction and 2 damage. So Snipe can just pick any base he wants and at least have a chance to kill. What happened to all those mutas? Did they die while I was looking at the drop? I guess they must have died while I was looking at the drop, which makes me feel bad because that would have been pretty cool to see. But I mean, we see that there's still Templar alive. They still have a good amount of energy. So I'm kind of surprised that the mutas got wrecked apparently. And now this base is definitely in danger. More Lings are going to trickle in here. Okay, here we have a scary amount here, but like 1 storm or 2 could wipe it out. We have a bunch of stealth in the mineral line. God, I feel like Snipe really turned this game around. It was looking really dire for him, I think. Well, this is Ling's taking out so many goons. That's not good. Let's see. So at least 1 base goes down, and some drones, and a good amount of units. And Zerg is just like scrambling to get something up. Just Lings and Lurkers is going to struggle a bit versus this composition from Protoss. I want to see some storms on these eggs and on these drones. Let's do it. Storming that Lurker all the way in the back, also excellent. It looks like the natural is going to go down. Snipe clearing out his 4th base at the same time. Very nice. Knows that Zerg is going to have to be focusing on his own side of the map. Double storming those Lings, but who cares, honestly. There's some more mutas, so they just sit in the storm and get wrecked. And man, I feel like JoJo really made a mistake when he pulled all those units for that 1DT and didn't bring them back to the choke. Snipe did a really good job, I guess, like patiently, apparently not overbuilding cannons. His speed zealot push went a bit. It didn't go too great, but he recovered from it really nicely. And now he's. I mean, obviously he's doing great. He's killed 2 bases, including the Zerg Natural. It's like 4 total hatcheries down. Jojo is going to try to kill this base. I think it's enough to kill what's here, actually. Unless we see a bunch of Zealots run over. But, yeah, without... Yeah, maybe if the Zealots were on the ramp, the cannons were done already. Do it. So this 4th base will get denied. But at a pretty heavy cost, because the main is going down. We do see Hive Tech done. It looks like Adrenal will finish. We don't see any effort to snipe the pool. Yeah, there we go. It does finish. So this base is definitely screwed. But all of this tech is going down. It's all going to be reset for the Zerg. Down to 18 drones. Looks like we're basically just going to have Lings come out. Yeah, the spawning pool is being rebuilt. And how does this base stay? Okay. I guess we had some more Zealous show up, but I would have sworn those Cracklings would be able to clear that base. Kind of wild. Snipe is absolutely getting the better end of this base trade with 4 times the supply, as I just noticed. Damn. Protoss OP, guys. That's all there is to it. Coach Reese in chat says he needs to fire with Plague. I think he needs that and like 100 more supply of units. Then he might have a chance. And yet, Cracklings are still gonna whittle down all those units here at this base. I think we have more reinforcements coming. We have Snipe's army continuing its rampage across the Zerg infrastructure. They take out 2 more hatcheries and like half their remaining drones. Jojo taps out. And Snipe wins, confirming that he's sandbagging. You know, he should. I don't know what. There should be like tier -1, and Snipe has to be in there because you can't make him a coach because then he doesn't have to play. Like you know, he's got to like something. Let's punish him somehow. But that being said, that is the end of our games tonight. Thank you for watching, everybody. I saw a few of you followed during the stream. Thank you for doing that. I've been trying to do this every Monday, at least for what remains of the season. I know, and we usually have Match of the Week on Tuesday and Wednesday on the official channel. We have other casters, Strom, Carlin, and Lease usually cast on Saturdays. Sometimes State Zero does a solo cast like on Friday or Saturday. We've had European cast sometimes with Akamo Daz, and a couple other people that I'm just drawing a blank on right now. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, do give me a follow. I'm going to try to find a Starcraft stream to raid. Let's see, who do we have? We have Crossy. That seems like a good choice. Let's do it. Alright. Goodbye, everybody.